Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
I keep wanting to change the intro because I have a problem and I have to change things or else I'm never happy. My only issue is it's so good.
Are you talking about your OCD tone? Is that what you're trying to tell us about? Is that what it is?
I don't think it's my OCD so much as I'm never happy.
That's part of the OCD. That's part of it.
Is it part of it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm self-diagnosed, so it's not. I don't know if it's really, really, really real.
Yes, 100%. That's part of it.
They're so. Listen, you called me at 12:30 in the morning.
Do I ever call you that late, Tone?
And I immediately thought you were in the hospital. And then I realized why you were calling, and I went, it's not real.
That's what I thought.
So much happened in like a 24, 48 hour stretch that apparently has been going on for 3 months, but we can't just dive into that because that's going to be a long conversation and with multiple.
100%.
We will absolutely talk about that. I want to point out that's supposed to be me, and that's supposed to be you. I just right above you, and that's your jersey. That's my.
That's Tone over there.
I feel like I might have to block us a little bit. I might have to do like this.
No, that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the OCD kicking in with Tone. By the way,
it's not centered.
Yeah, he can't handle it. He can't.
I have to tell you, what's up, chat? Please feel free to dive in. We're gonna take as many chats as we can this time because there's so much going on, rumors and stuff that we need to talk about. Yep. However, let me quickly say the OCD thing. I was speaking to a CEO of a company and on Zoom like this and see behind you. So imagine that picture on I think it's your left, my right. I don't know if it's
I know exactly what you're looking at.
Okay, that picture. When I'm talking to him, that it was a cupboard and it was a little bit open. And I kept doing this and I wasn't looking at him. And he's like, are you okay? And I said, I need you to do me a favor. I can't concentrate. And he said, what do you mean you can't concentrate? I said, see that drawer behind you, or that cabinet behind you? I go, you need to close it fully because the fact that it's open like a crack and now they're not balanced, I can't concentrate. And he's like, and he gets up, he apologizes. He actually apologized, which, he's a Canadian CEO, and closes the door. So that's, with us not being centered, that's my thing. That being said, I forgot to mention to kick off the show. This episode of Fluent Chill is brought to you by tariffs. You pay more, we pay more, but the damn government gets more money. What's going on, man?
Hey, I don't ever call Tone that late at night, ever. Right? I was on my way to bed, and I don't ever call him that late.
I'll tell you right now, I was
sleeping. He was knocked out. Yeah, he was knocked out, so I don't ever call him that late. But I mean, we've had so much going on, but Tone, it's you know what the trade deadline is about, Tone. It's more times than not, it's much to do about nothing. Yeah, a lot of yapping, a lot of talking. This guy's going here, this guy's going here. The trade deadline is coming up on this day. Once we get to that day, nothing.
How about every big name players going to the Lakers? Oh, wait.
No. and then guess what? It actually happened. So, I mean, we in the midst of all of this, I'm trying to peek my head in on the Celtics Cleveland game tonight because the two best teams in the Eastern Conference got it going on in the process of this whole trade thing, which now gives it keeps everybody on edge, Tone. That's what it does. It keeps everybody on edge, and I actually like it. Yeah. I do.
No, it's fantastic. And remember, I've been saying this forever, but I want to point it out because when I'm right, I feel like I should remind everybody that I'm right. Yep. Remember when I think you, me, I think we did a show even, Untouchable. What players are untouchable? And I said, and I repeat again, over and over and over again, nobody is untouchable. It's whether the other team is willing to give up the asking price. And so, what about Wemby? And I'm like, Wemby can be had, but will, whoever trade their entire starting lineup and 5 first-round draft picks for him? Probably not. But if someone did, like if Cleveland called San Antonio and said, we'll give you our starting 5 plus 5 years of first-round draft picks.
They'd hand Wemby over right now. They'd hand him over. They 100% would hand him over.
It's kind of like the conversation I heard that the conversation went like this. Nico Harrison calls up his friend Rob Pelinka. Now, do we know the relationship there? Do you know it? Should I share it? Are you familiar with how they know each other?
I'm not at all.
So Nico Harrison, who is the general manager of the Mavs, famously completely blew the pitch to Steph Curry to bring him. He was working for Nike, completely blew that pitch, and Steph ends up going to Under Armour. The rest is history.
Whoa, Tone. If you're gonna talk about it, like, because the people need to know how he blew this. It's not like he just completely it just didn't go well. No, fill him in, Tone, so you can set this up on what we're dealing with here.
I don't want to talk. You tell them, because then so much to talk about my voice.
So Tone's a businessman, and with Tone being a businessman, he's told me numerous times, none of this stuff matters unless you close the deal. And what's the first part of closing the deal? We got to get you in the room. All right. So they got Steph Curry in the room. Okay. What's the first part of getting somebody in the room? Working the room. The first thing I have to do when I'm working the room is I got to know who I'm dealing with. He called Steph Seth. Okay. That's not his name. Okay. That's not his name. And then on top of that, you spelled his name wrong. It's not Stephon. It's Stephen.
Yeah, Stephon.
It's not. That's not my name.
He's watching too much Family Matters. He thought it was Urkel's alter ego.
My name. No, that's not my name, Tone. It's Stephon. So this is what we're dealing with when he goes into Nike. So he goes into Nike. Steph is like, nah, I'm good. We step off. Nope, we step off. And then
he goes, okay. Yep. So he completely blows it. So when I say he blew it, excuse me, it wasn't like he just didn't do a good job. He completely crashed and burned. All right. So he crashes and burns. He somehow ends up while he's at Nike. So this is where I was going. As he's at Nike, he is the main person at Nike who's responsible for the relationship with Anthony Davis. So he is now friends with Anthony Davis. He's also, we're going back a few years, the main person at Nike who deals with Kobe Bryant. Well, guess who's Kobe Bryant's agent? Rob Pelinka. So Nico has actually a very good relationship with Kobe, and in turn with Rob, because obviously they're negotiating and doing all the Kobe brand stuff, and with Anthony Davis. So there is a relationship there beyond basketball.
Right.
So the story goes, or at least the conversation joke goes like this. We're going to talk about all the different scenarios. Hey, Rob, what will it take to get Anthony Davis to Dallas? Rob, no, it's not happening. Nothing. Nico, what about for Luka? Rob, AD will be there tomorrow.
Oh my God.
So there's a relationship there with Anthony Davis, which is, interesting. And let's go through all the conspiracies first. So obviously, for those does anyone not know? Because I heard Tele Latino soccer show talking about this trade, so I'm sure I feel like everybody knows. So basically, in the middle of the night, actually, and here's the other thing: everyone's like, "Oh, so hush hush." It was at 9:30 Western or Pacific time, excuse me. So it actually wasn't that late of a deal. Like if you think about, they were probably talking, working out, ironing out the details. They had to give Utah a call and say, "Hey, we need to drop some salary. Will you take this if we both give you a second rounder. Utah may not have even known what the bigger trade was for. They may have just said, hey, we're doing a trade and we need to cut X amount of salary. Do you want Hood? And we'll each give you a second rounder. And they're like, sure, we get Hood and 2 second rounders for nothing. And they're like, yeah, okay. Right. Danny
Which, by the way, who do we have on line 3? Do we have Danny Ainge on line 3? Because if we had Danny Ainge on line 3, this is not happening. Which, by the way, Tone,
been an assistant or something.
I'm 100% confident that's what's going on.
They would have asked, what's this for?
Yes, 100% they would have asked that. That's number one.
100%.
No, that's number one. Because if he would have known that this was if this was this deal, it wasn't going to happen. Which, by the way, right? What up, nephew? Which, by the way, right? Which, by the way, I'm blown away by this. If this deal doesn't happen with Utah, if they're not part of it, this deal doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, this deal. Well, it could have been another team,
which it wouldn't have been
any team. But I think if you call any team that could take on his salary, Hood's salary, and say, "Here, we're going to give you Hood and 2 second rounders for nothing because we're working on another deal," and they're like, "And we'll owe you one." See, that's where I think maybe Danny Ainge may have been on the line. They're like, "Hey, we're going to owe you one," and Danny Ainge is like, "Yeah, you will," and you know he's going to call. He's like a mobster when you owe him one. You're in trouble. So
this is what I'm saying, Tone. So you do understand with now wanting Walker Kessler, you can't call him back. You understand that, correct? I just want to make sure that we clear on that you cannot call him back. Which I don't want to get. I don't want to get thrown off the rails.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I
don't want to get thrown off the rails. I do want to stay here, but in the process of us staying here, I want to pause really quickly. Tone, I don't want to hear anything else from your spoiled, rotten ass. You know why? I don't want to hear anything from you because what's going on right now in the last 7 years, ladies and gentlemen, and the people at home that are listening, in the last 7 years, the Los Angeles Lakers have had 3 guys, count them, 3 top 10 players on their roster. 3 of them. They get James in 19. They get James in 18-19. They get Davis in the 19-20 season. And now they get Luka in the last 7 years. I'm trying to figure out who's done that before. Oh, I'm sorry. The Lakers. You guys have done that before. When you get Shaq, then you get Bryant. So, and I'm sorry, has anybody done that before? They've done it. Oh, yeah, you did it again. Because then you get Jabbar. Then you get Magic. And then you get James Worthy. I'm so sick of you, Tone. I swear. I'm so sick of your. I don't want to hear nothing else from you. But anyway,
I feel like you're forgetting. We also had Baylor, West, and Chamberlain.
Don't leave that part out. I didn't even go back to the 60s. I didn't. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, back then,
Lakers gonna Lake.
You couldn't walk out the front door back then. So Chamberlain was a free agent. So what it was, it's being a restricted free agent. So when you leave, you have to compensate us. You got to give us something, right? So they basically, Philly gave the Lakers like a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack for Chamberlain. That's what they did. So anyway, as you were saying, Tone.
And not that he was top 5, but we also did have Kobe and Pau, which at the time was everyone thought we stole Pau. Like Mark turned out to be really good, but when that trade went down, it was like we got robbed. And so, so we kind of forgive the league for not letting us have Chris Paul. That being said,
I ain't even gonna leave that out. David Stern said he had enough of you guys. David Stern had enough of you guys.
Adam Silver's watch. He probably would have botched this one.
Stern's like, I had enough of these guys. No, we ain't doing that. No.
So that's all. I don't want to say all jokes aside because there's probably going to be more jokes. So basically, what happened? Here's what we're hearing. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of them to you.
Sure.
So the Dallas Mavericks, as you know, because people are blaming, which is just so dumb. They're trying to blame Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is out. He has no say anymore. So new ownership is in.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people that own the Sands Casino.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one of the dumbest ones I've heard. They're trying to tank because they can't move Dallas out of Dallas if they're good. And they're trying to tank so they can move them to Vegas and build a whole complex around Las Vegas casino, resort, and basketball facility. The only problem with that is Anthony Davis doesn't make you worse. Anthony Davis does not make you worse. In fact, Anthony Davis probably makes the Mavericks better today than they were yesterday. So I don't buy that, but that's one of the theories. Mm-hmm. Theory number 2 is Mrs. Harris or Harrison. It's Nico Harris is his name. Yeah.
Harrison.
Mrs. Harrison, I'm sorry.
Nico Harrison.
Apparently, Mrs. Harrison had a little thing for Luka, and Nico didn't like that. So that's why he was traded off. I don't buy that. Him being 270 pounds and not committed to basketball was apparently one of the things. Yep. I actually don't even buy that either. What I do believe is money, because money.
Stay right there, Tone. Stay right there, Tone. Because there's one more, and I got this on some information. I don't know how true it is, but turns out, and it hasn't gotten out. I don't think it's true, but I heard Davis and James got in a fight in practice.
Well, let's talk to the Lakers side in a minute.
Okay, we haven't gotten to that. Let's stay in Dallas. Okay, we haven't gotten to that yet.
On the Luka side.
Okay.
And on the Luka side, new owners who are looking to build this massive resort and casino, and I'm not saying they're not strapped for cash, but it's a lot of money to buy a team and build. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. People don't realize we throw around these numbers, but it's a lot of money.
Sure.
And they were staring down the barrel of a $353 million max contract to Luka.
Sure.
And thought to themselves, if any of those other things are a little bit true, if he's not dedicated to basketball, if he's not 100% in shape, all of those things, and he's injured at the time, today he is injured. We don't want to do that. They go to Nico and say, hey, what do you think? And he goes, I can probably get us a top 10 player in the NBA for Luka today that probably fits Jason Kidd's approach to basketball, which is kind of team ball, defense, etc. I can probably do that and save us a ton of money. And so that's the Dallas side.
Yep.
On the Lakers side, why would they part with Anthony Davis, who him and LeBron just came out and said, all we need is a center to be competitive?
Yep.
You say you've heard, so I'll let you finish what you were saying.
Well, what I heard, Tone, and I don't know how true this is I heard that James and Anthony Davis got in a fight in practice, and Davis swung on him, and it connected. I don't know how true this is, but this would expedite the trade. I'm not buying that at all. No. And the reason why I'm not buying that is off the strength that guys get into scuffles, guys get into tiffs all the time. The thing what happened with Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, if that never gets out, Jordan Poole's still on the Golden State Warriors today. And he signs an extension. He's still on that team. The fact that it got out, it made it worse. And now they had to do something. If this is something that happened, there's no way it's not getting out.
Yeah, I don't buy, and people in the comments are saying, oh, that's NBA Centel or whatever that fake NBA Central account is on Twitter. I don't buy that either. The one that I don't necessarily disbelieve, I guess, I don't buy it 100%, but I don't 100% disbelieve it.
Right.
Is that because AD, let's stop for a second and remind people, AD is the best player on this team. He offensively, defensively, put it all together, he's the best player on this team. When he's playing to his full capabilities, he's the best player on this team. The offense goes through him, the defense is anchored by him, and they can be a championship contending team when he plays like what he's capable of playing.
100%.
He has not been day-to-day Davis as of late. In fact, I believe he's played like 90% of the Lakers games over the last 2 or so years. So he's not that same day-to-day guy. Now, does he shrivel up and disappear sometimes against some of the other, big name centers in the league? Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's something he does do. Absolutely. That being said, why would the Lakers move on from him? 2 theories I have heard and think. One I heard, one that I think. So the one that I heard was, it wasn't necessarily something between him and LeBron. It was more that his murmur, when people talk under their breath, right? Why is his son here? Why is his son here? Started to get louder and louder. Why is his son here? Especially after the Philadelphia game, where JJ horrible coaching job, by the way, puts him in the first quarter, and he gets cooked by Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not an indictment on Bronny James, other than to say Bronny James today is a G League player. So he's doing very well. Go put him in the G League and let him develop a game. He is not NBA ready today.
Right.
He might grow to be that, but he is not there today. So my understanding is, and this is from people close to like sideline reporters for the Lakers. So take that for what it is, how much they hear and don't hear off the record. So I can't say which one. And it was his, why is he here comments, which were meant to be joking. Like he always, what I was told is he always said it jokingly, right? Like, hey, little bro, why are you here? Shouldn't you be down with, New Hamburg or whatever?
Right. Right.
And it just got louder and louder and louder and more frequent. And after that Philadelphia game, it was seriously, guys, like, stop it.
Like it was funny. It was funny a minute ago. Like it ain't funny no more. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was also, and then it was like, yeah, but look, he stinks. So that's what I heard. And then that was kind of the catalyst for, hey, if he doesn't like what we're doing, like JJ, I believe in Bronny. Bron, I believe in Bronny. Rob, I believe in Bronny. If you don't get on board, I don't necessarily even though it was told to me from someone who knows more than me, I still don't take that as 100%. Here's what I do believe. I believe that LeBron's on his way out, whether it's to another team or to retirement, because he's 40 years old.
Yep.
And they realized, well, AD's what, 31, 32?
He'll be 32 next month.
He is not the future. But a guy who's turning 26 next month, who they call Luka Magic, will be around for another 10 years. So if they're finding the cornerstone of the franchise for the next 10 years in Luka Doncic, and they have to give up 32-year-old Anthony Davis, who came in, got them a championship, did what he had to do. And like I've always said, when he's playing at his best, that's when you should trade him. Right? Trade him a year early, not a year late. So I think it was more of, this is a future play for the Lakers.
Tone, you've said to me countless times.
Which one makes the most sense to you?
Tone, you've said to me countless times in business.
Hold on a sec. Moron. I just said, because he's leaving, either by he deciding to go to another team or him retiring. So get it through your thick skull that you should listen before you comment. Yes, go ahead.
So, Tone, you've said to me as a businessman, you've said to me a number of different things that I've basically kept with me. One of them, you said to me, when you fail fast.
Fast.
You've also told me, when it's time to cash out, take your dough and leave. Don't play around. This is what it is. Take what you can get and leave. Tone, I can tell you right now, when you're dealing, a lot of the people that we talk to and a lot of people that, that listen to us don't understand the business of basketball, which is why they can't talk basketball, because they just see it from the perspective of a fan, just putting the guy on the court and not understanding the logistics, not understanding the money. So now, this Dallas Mavericks organization, they've been around Luka for 7 years. And in the 7 years that they've been around him, they've seen any and everything that there is to see when it comes to Luka. They know his tendencies. They know his work ethic. They know his workout habits. They know his eating habits. They know everything that there is to know about Luka. Everything. With that being said, they've done everything possible to change the narrative on Luka. Luka's fat. Luka's out of shape. Luka complains. Luka does all of these things. We can change that. Here we are in 2025. It's the same logic going on with him. 7 years later. And not only is it the same logic going on with him 7 years later, we have to get to the business of basketball, which, just so you guys know, he's got this year and next year left on his deal. So he's still owed a total of $80 million. Almost. $80 million he's owed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extend him after these 2 years. We're going to extend him at $354 for 5 more years, which means that this deal doesn't kick in for another 2 seasons. Because remember what a contract extension is. When you get a contract extension, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just rip up your current deal. No, it's an extension of what you already have. So now when Luka's contract extension kicks in, that's 2 more years later. 2 more years later, I think Nico looked at Luka. That's going to be over $400 million that we're looking at with Luka. And Tone has said to me countless times when we're talking business, Tone has said to me, quote, we can't win with him. We can't do it. We're not going to be able to do it with him. And this isn't specifically Luka, but he said that to me when we're talking business. We can't win with this guy. I think that Nico Hara, I think the GM from the Dallas Mavericks looked at the landscape. He looked at what was going on with Luka, and it's not to say that Luka is a bad player. I think Luka is the best scorer in the game, Tone. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's the best player. I think he's the best scorer in the game. With that being said, when it comes to the money and when it comes to the investment, and we're doing this long term, because this isn't a long-term investment with Nico. This is a short-term investment with Nico, which would explain why they traded for Anthony Davis. Why? Because I can get Anthony Davis, who's still a top 10 player in the game today, and not on the back end of the top 10, like right in the middle, like anywhere between 5 and 6. He's right there. And when we talk about, and he's still a great player, I think this is a 3-year window. In the process of this being a 3-year window, I get him for half the dough that I was going to pay Luka. I get to re-up Kyrie Irving, and we got to make this work in 3 years. And what we're doing is we're changing the landscape of our crew. We're going to turn into a defensive-minded, rebounding team that plays defense and is hard-nosed and tough more than anything.
Yeah, and I think when they look at, before you go to the Lakers, I think when Dallas looks at the Western Conference and that landscape, they feel like this gives them an opportunity. Because what did they talk about when Kyrie and Luka, when they brought over Kyrie? Well, both of them are very ball dominant. How are they going to share it? And to their credit, they've done a very good job of figuring that out. Sure. But it's not traditional in the sense that, right, that's not how you traditionally have it, where you have 2 ball dominant people. Jason Kidd was the assistant coach. People may have or may have not forgotten when the Lakers won, when they saw how it worked. And what did the Lakers have when it worked with Anthony Davis? They had multiple bigs around him, right? It was Dwight Howard and
JaVale McGee.
And now he goes to a Dallas team that now Kyrie's not better than Luka. I'm not even suggesting that.
He's not even suggesting that. Okay.
But now you have a guy in Kyrie who now he can be his ball dominant self, right? Without having someone else that needs to do that. He also surrounds Anthony Davis with Gafford, with Lively, PJ Washington to a lesser extent.
Tone, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tone, but what position was Davis playing in Los Angeles?
He was playing center.
What position does he get to play in Dallas?
Power forward, where he wants to be. What a shot.
That?
Right? And that's when he's been if you even look back when he was at his best, he had DeMarcus Cousins playing center there, and he was playing the 4 when he had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, who are not on his level at that point in their careers, especially Dwight Howard, obviously JaVale McGee never was, but that's when he looked his best. So why not put him into a position? And then I look at the West and I'm like, well, I gotta take care of a team in Minnesota. Well, they've got 2 bigs. In Gobert and I guess Randall, if you want to call him. And
who's going to get traded, I think, Tone.
Yeah, I don't think he lasts past Thursday either. You're also looking at OKC. Are they the team? Well, Denver's the other one that I'm looking at. Well, what do I know about Denver? Well, Denver has a pretty good big that we want to throw a couple bodies at him. Well, now we have 3, 4, and we know Davis has never done well against him anyways. So why not give him that help of those guys?
Sure.
So I think that puts him in a good position, to your point, short term. So I think it was worth the risk. It's interesting, though, when we see what Luka said about, I thought I was going to be in Dallas forever and, et cetera, et cetera. Man, he got a massive, now, I'm not going to complain if I got it, but he got a massive pay cut. He lost $117 million because he can't sign the Supermax in LA. And then the taxes alone are going to cost him like $3 million a year. which also means Anthony Davis got a raise, by the way. So you were going to say on Rob Pelinka's side.
Now, on Rob Pelinka's side, to your point, right? To your point, on Rob Pelinka's side, one, I get to fix this problem. I get to bring in Luka and I get to show him everything that Laker allure is. That's going to be the motivation.
Yeah.
Right? Everything that Laker allure is. You're going to be amongst the greats. Jerry West. There's a bunch of statues outside. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Magic, Jabbar, Bryant. There's a bunch of statues outside.
And don't forget, sorry to interrupt, but don't forget, who did he say was his favorite player when he first came into the league?
Magic.
No.
Wait a minute. Wait. I want to make sure that I remember this correctly. Who did he say was his favorite player when he came into
the league? Best player?
Who was the best? Oh, it was James.
Now he gets to play with James?
Yes, it was James. Yeah. That's right. Yes, it was James. Absolutely. So, and I get to learn from James, one, what it is, how to take care of my body, how to show up every day, how to get what I need to get done.
Oh, if he gets on the James workout plan?
How I need to show up every day. Tone, you and I had this conversation. What happened to James in the summer of 2007 when he was on that Olympic team? He ran into Kobe Bryant. And what he did was he saw what the work actually looked like. And he goes, you know what? I was working. Let me get rid of that because this is what the work looks like. I got everything that this guy has. I don't have that. I have to get that.
There's such a good story there quickly where we all heard it about the Olympics where, you know, they went to work out in the morning and by the time they got down there, Kobe was already like drenched in sweat, had already been working out for, and they're like, oh, this is what I got to do to be that level. And fast forward now 20 years or 17 years, whatever.
Right.
What was the story Tyrese Maxey just said? I was working out with James and I got there before him and the next day he was there an hour before me. And by the time I got there, he was drenched in sweat. And I'm like, damn, like I feel like I heard that exact same story from James. So how it's coming now full circle, it's gonna be so good to. We'll talk basketball on court in a second, but let you finish with this setup.
You get your franchise player moving forward, but I think that this plan, Tone, with Luka on the crew. Just like I told you in Dallas, I think this is a 3-month. I think this is a 3-year plan. I think with James, I think this is a 36-month plan because I think he's out. I thought he was out after this season. I did. I honestly thought he was out after this season, but we can't do that. And the reason why we can't do that because we have to announce the farewell tour.
Of course.
And once you announce the farewell tour, that's where the bread comes in. That's why he's not getting traded. Just so all of you guys know, that's why he's not getting traded to Golden State. You think they're giving Golden State the farewell tour? You think they're giving the Knicks the farewell tour? Hell no. They ain't giving nobody else the farewell tour. The farewell tour is going to stay right in Los Angeles. With that being said,
they're going to do the same thing they did with Kobe.
Yeah.
Right? This is his last year. They're going to go from arena to arena to arena and everybody applauding him and, you know, giving him gifts and doing all that stuff. And I've said to you, I think it's Bryce comes in. He gets the money from the Saudis to buy the Vegas team. He retires, does his farewell tour, and transitions into ownership of the Las Vegas whatevers. I've been saying that for 2 years. I said it's not just about Bronny. I said it's about Bronny, Bryce, and ownership. Yep. That's the 3 stages. And we're going to retire him and have a wonderful experience. And let's be clear, though. Do we want to talk about on-court yet?
Not yet. We getting there. Yep, we absolutely getting there. So with that, we got a 36-month. I feel like it's a year and a half plan. And with this year and a half plan, we still got to go get another big guy, right? We still got to get another big guy.
Yes.
Luka, we still have to, and for all intents and purposes, we still got some contract issues that we got with Luka, right? Because Luka comes off the books at the next season, so we still got to sign him too. And the money that Luka lost, I think we can make some of it back with endorsements because
of course. He's in LA. He's going to be in movies. He's in TV shows. Yeah. LeBron has a production company. And trust me, he will be somewhere.
Now there's some people, Tone, who will say stuff like, well, he was going to get that anyway. So them, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is a win-win for both teams. I think this is a win-win for the Lakers because you get your franchise player and you get the transition from James to Luka. Dallas, you get the big guy. Because be clear about one thing, Tone. And I heard a really interesting analogy that my man Mars gave me about a kid going into a candy shop and you get to pick whatever candy you want. And instead of him going into this candy shop and picking whatever candy he wanted, he saw all the candy and he came out with nothing. I think that Nico Harrison, Tone, I think that it was Anthony Davis and Anthony Davis only. I don't think he was interested in anybody else.
Well, that I know is actually untrue. That I know is untrue because people said, how did they just make this deal and he didn't shop Luka around? Well, one, if you're going to keep it quiet, you can't be shopping Luka around because
you can't zip it.
But I know for a fact that he made 2 calls to 2 other teams. The second team, I'm still working out. The details of who it was, but the one team I know for a fact he called was the Suns, and the Suns told him Booker and or KD are not available, so don't bother. So it wasn't just the Lakers. It was 3 teams. It was 3 players or groups of players.
Right.
But AD, listen, he knows AD very, very well, like I said, and as does Jason Kidd. So that I'm not saying that wasn't their number one choice. Most likely was their number one, but they did have 2 other feelers out. One being because the KD one is interesting because I don't think he could put Luka with Booker.
Right.
So, and they probably would have had to get a 3rd team involved. And like you said, it was a fire sale. So it would have been Luka coming in to take over the Suns and Booker and KD going out to other places. Right. And then the 3rd team, I was told there's a 3rd team. I got to find out the details. Maybe the chat saying the Bucks. Maybe it was for Giannis. I don't know, because that's similar type of player to Anthony Davis.
The reason why I say that, the reason why I say that, Tone, the reason why I say that is because when I look at how this deal went down, it looks like the GM from the Mavs, Nico Harrison. It looks like there was a specific archetype of player that he was looking for, and how he wanted to build this unit. It was a specific type of player, a big who was a defender, who could score, like Anthony Davis, like Giannis, somebody like that. And this is how I'm gonna change the landscape of this crew. And Giannis works because, again, Giannis is a little bit younger, 30 years old. Anthony Davis, 31 years old, going on 32, and actually has been really good in terms of health over the last couple of years. We're going to turn this thing around in terms of the landscape of this crew, and we're going to make this thing work. The thing that I'm thinking about when I think about when he got Anthony Davis, again, and I may sound like I'm repeating myself, but it seems to me like he had a specific archetype of player, and on top of that, Tone, the discipline that it takes in order to keep this quiet. Tone, this can't get out. So when you and me are having coffee and you checking my temperature on how I feel about Luka, and you're not insinuating right away that you're interested in trading for Luka. You're not doing that right away, but we're kind of going in that direction over the course of time. So I don't know, Tone. We play the Trailblazers tonight, and you play the Trailblazers on Friday. So I might hang out an extra night. You coming in tomorrow because you're in town to play them on Friday. Let's go meet in Portland and go have a cup of coffee and let's talk about this some more. And ain't nobody paying attention to us in Portland.
No.
Nobody's
no one would even recognize them.
Ain't nobody paying no attention to you and I in Portland, as opposed to if we were sitting downtown in Santa Monica having a cup of coffee.
But then again, but those two, specifically Rob and Nico, they have a relationship. They've known each other for 20 years. So I think them, even if they did meet in LA, I don't think anyone's questioning that because of their background and their history. Like if you and I were to get our GM roles and then you and I, we're in whatever city, in Miami.
Toronto. We're in Toronto. We're in
Toronto. And we were sitting down and having a bite. No one's going to question that because they're like, yes, they're GMs of 2 teams now, but they've known each other forever. So I don't think anyone even questions that.
But if we start putting 2 and 2 together, Tone, what I mean when I say that is if one person starts sitting down,
maybe.
right? So
Yeah.
hey, I saw what's the general manager name for the Mavs? Nico Harrison. Yeah, I saw him with Rob Pelinka in Toronto. They would. What the hell was Rob Pelinka doing in
No,
Toronto?
and we would have said, oh yeah, those two guys have known each other for a long time because he was Kobe's Nike representative and Rob was Kobe's agent. So yeah, duh, known each other for a long time.
Sure,
we would kibosh on it.
Right.
And just for the people in the chat quickly who are saying the Suns thing, let's be clear. The conversation, and this is why I say you have to understand how business works. The call wasn't made and said, hey, do you want to trade KD for Luka?
No, that's not the way that worked.
Not how it went. It was, hey, we're trying to bolster our roster. Is there anything going on in your world where you would be open to a discussion about a Kevin Durant trade? And they would have said, no, not for every player on your roster. Okay, cool, it's dead. Or maybe it did get to the point where we're thinking of moving Luka. Can't say anything. Well, if you move Luka for KD, well, then we got to move Booker because we know that maybe those two don't work. Yeah, that sounds like too many moving pieces. Forget it. So there's a million ways that could have happened, but it's to say it never happened. If you don't know it didn't happen, but we have people in Phoenix who said there were conversations, I'm going to believe the people in Phoenix who said there was conversations versus some dude in the chat.
And to your point, Tone, I don't think that we are calling up the Dallas Mavericks going, hey, to your point, I don't think we calling the Dallas Mavericks going, hey, you want to trade Luka? No, the conversation starts with something.
They're poker players. They're not stupid.
It comes with something subtle. Like, hey, how you feel about Luka?
How are things going? How's the team? Where do you see, the future? KD's getting a little up there. Like, do you guys think this is your year, or you're going to rebuild? No. We're committed to KD and Booker. Right?
And would you ever? I mean, I'm just asking. Hey, I know that he's undercut. Would you ever consider moving player? Would you?
Or Nico Harrison is a fairly new GM. Man, how do you deal with all these things that you read online? What do you mean? All these people on Twitter or X, whatever, talking about us moving from Luka, like we would move from Luka. Like, where do they get this stuff? Like, there's so many different things that you're talking about that we do this to people all the time.
All the time.
How do you think Jimmy? I don't want to jump off too much, but how do you think Jimmy Butler already saying, if I get traded to the Warriors, I'm not signing an extension with them? And the Warriors are like, well, then we're not trading for you. You think that gets accidentally? Because there's conversations happening. It's happening.
Right. That's dumb. Right. Absolutely. So now I think we've covered the business of basketball. So what does this mean moving forward? The game. Like, how does this work now?
The easy one is the Mavs.
Yes.
Right. I think the Mavs actually have they're not better without Luka, but I think they have a more balanced roster. Because don't forget, they also got Max Christie, and Max Christie's not a bad player.
He can play. He can play.
So I think they're in a good. And we already talked about the bigs and the ball handling and that stuff. So I think they're fine. Where it's going to be interesting is Luka and LeBron. Similar type of offensive kind of ball dominant, shoot a lot of shots, great passers. So does LeBron, like, I think the same way that it worked with Kyrie and Luka, I think it can work that way because LeBron at 40 can still take over games. We've seen him do it in stretches. Right? I bring up the game right before the trade when he was playing against the Knicks. It's a single digit game, 8 points, 9 points, something like that. He gets the ball in on the left wing, realizes, Josh Hart is on me, immediately posts him up, spin move, bucket. Comes down the next time, hits a three. Now it's a double-digit game. Before you know it, it's Bronny time, right? Like, he stretched out. He took that single-point lead, turned it into a double-point lead, and a blowout win.
Sure.
So he has that ability. But at 40, can you expect him to do it every night in and night out? No. Can he and Luka now make that work where they take turns doing that, and Luka does it more? 100%. You have 2 6'7", 8, 9 guys who can do everything offensively: shoot, pass, facilitate everything, drive. Even though Luka's not as athletic, I would love, like I said, I would love to see him on the LeBron kind of workout plan, which would just extend his career and give him a new facet to his game. The other part of this is that people seem to forget: Luka is an exceptional passer. LeBron has turned into a 40% 3-point shooter.
How about that?
Well, why can't he play stretches where Luka can put out to him for a nice open three? Like, if I'm LeBron James at 40 years old, I would love the opportunity to take 5 minutes off where I could let Luka do his thing. And then every once in a while, he kicks it out to me like a la Larry Bird in the 92 Dream Team when Magic said to him, you don't have to do anything. Just stand there. I'll get you the ball and shoot it.
And vice versa, Tone. And vice versa. Absolutely. 100%.
Now, do I love the fact that they needed a center and they traded away their best one? No. Is Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber going to be the answer? No. So they still need a move. They still need to make a move. But as far as two guys with that skill set, regardless of them being so ball dominant, two guys with that skill set not being able to coexist, I think is crazy.
Well, we've seen.
I'm worried about some defense.
As you should be.
But in that New York game, now that was one game, the Lakers played some very intense defense. So there's the capability of them stepping that game up. Again, I agree with everyone. They need a big. But to say that these two guys can't win, I think is crazy.
Well, number one, we already seen him play with another ball dominant guy, and both of them play with another ball dominant guy and get busy. We saw James play with Kyrie Irving, and it resulted in winning the NBA championship. We saw that. He played off the ball more when he played with Kyrie Irving. In fact, this season, James is playing off the ball the most, I think, that he's played in his career. That's number one. We also seen Kyrie Irving play with Luka, and we've seen him play off the ball, right? And that's worked. They won the NBA championship last year. Now, a lot of people are looking at this from you don't trade a 25-year-old when you just got to the finals. Okay, you are looking at, this is, for lack of a better term, this is the drug dealer money that you're looking at. You're looking at the corner money. You're not looking at the stocks. You're not looking at the money that's going to go 5-10 years from now. No, you're not looking at that money. You're looking at the sneaker and sweater money. That's what you're looking at right now. And that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on with Rob Pelinka. He's looking at the long-term money. How am I going to build this unit around Luka? Because James is not going to be here 5 years from now. He's not. James is not going to be here.
Sure?
I can't see him.
I feel like he's playing at 45. That's
I just don't see him. If he's still here 5 years from now, Tone, man, that just makes me nuts. That just makes me nuts to think that this dude is still around 5 years from now. But with that being said, I think that he set them up for the future. You do need a 5-man. You call up the Portland Trailblazers and you ask for Robert Williams. I think the Trailblazers hand him over. If they don't hand him over, Brooklyn is having a fire sale. You call up the Brooklyn Nets and check their temperature on Claxton. See how they feel about him these days. See what's going on with the big fella. Because you need a guy who can rebound. You need a guy who can defend. You got a 6'10 guy who can defend. You got a 6'10 guy who can rebound. Now, does that mean, and if you can avoid Denver, you might be on to something. If you can avoid Denver. Because Claxton is one of the better defensive players in the game. Now all you have to do is shore up the rest of that stuff. You still need another perimeter defender. That's where you find that in the buyout market, Tone. So, and if you haven't, and again, we're not with Luka, you're not at the second apron. So you still can get into the buyout market. So because you could get into the buyout market, you may find yourself a perimeter defender that's available at that time for cheap. That go, you know what? He can help us. So let's bring him on. Now, as far as Dallas, I think this is a win-win for both of them. Because like we said previous, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford is the stopgap. He's, for all intents and purposes, and I know how, just so you guys know, Tone thinks that Baker Mayfield is a stopgap quarterback. So that's who he is. He's a stopgap. He's the guy that's holding his spot until the other guy gets healthy. So Gafford is there until Derek Lively gets healthy. You put Derek Lively at the 5. You got you got Anthony Davis at the 4. You got PJ at the 3. You got got Kyrie Irving at the 1. And we still have to get I think Najee Marshall is still on the crew. I'm sorry, Klay Thompson. We got Klay at the 2. Right. Yeah, I completely forgot about Clay. I apologize. So you got Irv at the 1, you got Clay at the 2, you got Washington at the 3, you got Anthony Davis at the 4, and you got Derek Lively when he gets healthy at the 5, with Daniel Gafford playing behind Lively. And you got a bunch of rotation players, and you don't have the headache of what Luka was. I don't have to worry about that liability defensively, because last I checked, Kyrie Irving ain't exactly an all-league defender, but he will compete for stretches. He will 100% give you competition. No doubt about that, he will. So with that being said, you can shore up this roster because you have some pieces. You're probably going to lose Clay, and his money's going to come off the books in the next 2 years, right? You're going to lose him. You got to re-up PJ Washington. This is a 3-year project. And with the pieces that you have with Anthony Davis, you re-up Irv with him. This thing can work, Tone. This thing can work.
I like I said, I think I don't see how either team got worse when you look at it. We're gonna go into some stats later, but there's some more trades. There's obviously some more trades in the NBA. The big one, of course, being that Dallas also picked up Caleb Martin. I just like let's break for a second from basketball. Break for a second from basketball, because I want to ask you a question, because I'll forget, because I know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get stuck up in basketball, and I'm going to forget about the Super Bowl. Oh, look at that. Someone's Eagles are in the Super Bowl this year, and we want Fluent Jr. to get to bed on time. So Eagles and Chiefs. What is more? Okay, who's your pick first?
Where the belt is.
So you're sticking with the Chiefs.
That's where the belt is.
Who you got? The Eagles. You're an Eagles fan. What is more likely, now that we've seen this Luka trade, that Kendrick Lamar brings out Drake as a guess or Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne.
Who's better, Drake or Lil Wayne?
Drake.
Drake?
Yes.
Who do you got? Drake or Lil? No, Drake. Drake or Kendrick?
Kendrick.
Kendrick?
Yeah.
You're Canadian.
But Drake sucks.
Drake sucks?
Like, he's not even good. Like, call me on my cell phone. Like, what? Like, what?
They call you on your cell phone. You don't like that?
No.
Okay. So Eagles and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
There you go.
Call me on my cell phone. What's that?
My nephew, ladies and gentlemen. Say what's up.
That's funny. All right, so you got Chiefs. He's got Eagles. I got 0-0 tie because I want them both to lose. No, I'll just side Caleb Martin. No. De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox moved to. Did I tell you this 3 weeks ago or no?
No.
That I thought De'Aaron Fox was going to the Spurs, and then they were going to find a way to like move up to first or second in the draft and add Flag or Bailey.
Or did not tell me about that. No,
I'm on record. It's on record saying that. So the first piece is gone. I think this is the way that they're going to bring the Spurs back to dynasty contention. How do you feel about that trade? So Fox to the Spurs, Zach LaVine reunited with DeMar DeRozan.
Yep.
Didn't work in Chicago. Don't think it's going to work for the Kings.
Well, Tone,
are you surprised that happened?
No, I'm not surprised, because I've said this to you in the past that James wrote the blueprint on what happens when your star doesn't sign a contract extension. We got to move him. We cannot get left holding the bag. Absolutely 100%. Not. And when he decided that he wasn't signing a contract extension, yes. In this particular situation, you put the word out. He's available. And I'm taking I'm taking phone calls for him, because I'm not getting left holding the bag here. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to limit myself. Now, I understand that his destination was San Antonio. I'm not putting that out there. I'm not telling anybody about that. And the reason why I'm not telling anybody about that, because this has to work not just for him. It's got to work for me too. I can't just say San Antonio is the destination, and even if I only get whatever it is, I'm just going to do right by him. No, this has to work for me too. So I'm putting it out there that he's available. I'm not going to let it leak that he only wants to go to San Antonio. With that being said, with that being said, the fact that he showed up and he went to work every day, came and did his job, wasn't a disruption. You didn't hear any nonsense from him. He came to work every day. He was as healthy as he could possibly be, and he stayed professional. That made this thing way less difficult than what it could have been. Way less difficult, where he could have complained about getting money. He could have complained about the direction of the team. He didn't do any of that. If I'm looking at what's going on in San Antonio right now, Wemby expedites your process. Even though I feel like you shouldn't rush Wemby, but I feel like with what Wemby has and how good he is, the last thing I want to do, Tone, is look like I'm dragging my feet.
Waste them.
Yes, I don't want to do that.
Let's be honest. To bring it back to the Luka thing, right? What did I tell you before they got? Although Kyrie, I didn't love, but what did I tell you? I said they're going to waste Luka, and he's going to be gone because he's not going to be like Dirk. He's not going to wait around for one.
Nope.
I didn't think he was.
Right. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste any of Wemby's years. And Wemby expedites my process. So if there's a guy like De'Aaron Fox on the market, or if there is De'Aaron Fox on the market, and I get a lead guard to go with my big, I already got Chris Paul on his way out the door. And I get to keep Castle, because I didn't think that was going to happen, Tom. I thought that they were going to lose Castle in this trade. There was no way that they could keep Castle in this trade. The fact that they get to keep him, I think that's huge. Now, there's some people that's looking at this going, well, damn, if he's got Castle, if he keeps Castle, well, Castle now has got to sit behind both Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox. Well, first of all, you only going to have to sit behind Chris Paul for just this season, for the rest of this season. That's number one. Number
Chris
two,
Paul, head coach of this team next year, let's be honest.
Number two, if I'm looking at the landscape of your game, there's some work that needs to be done. I hear people all the time telling me about how good Rob Dillingham is and that he's better than Mike Conley. That may be true. He still needs to sit his ass behind him and learn.
Yeah.
He does. Just like Patrick Mahomes was probably better than Alex Smith, coming right in. He probably was better than him, but I can't give him the football yet. He's not ready.
Point guards, I do often relate them to quarterbacks in the sense that if you look at the majority of real successful quarterbacks, sat behind another either really good quarterback or a good mentoring quarterback, whether they were a gap quarterback or not. And those are the ones that have more often than not been great, right? There's examples of Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, these guys sitting and Tom Brady, right? Sitting and watching from don't think Tom Brady sitting behind Drew Bledsoe was like, people forget how good Bledsoe was.
He was a Pro Bowler. He wasn't a good quarterback. He was a big time quarterback.
Them sitting behind these guys and learning. It's the same thing for a point guard, because there's so much to know from the point guard position that although it has changed and it's a much more scoring role, you do need to know where everybody is going to be if you're going to be a great one. So I'm with you on that.
So with that being said, you now have Castle sitting behind Fox, and he's going to learn. The thing that I worry about with Wemby, I do know that the process gets expedited. I get nervous about rushing him into things that he's not ready for. That's the thing I get nervous about. But I think that San Antonio knows how to manage him because they've done it before. We had David Robinson. We had Tim Duncan. We were able to build around these guys. So there's a pedigree there. Okay, great. Sacramento, on the other hand, I'm in the minority. I think this thing is over. You built this unit around, I think that you built this unit around De'Aaron Fox. I think you got Sabonis. I think you got Keegan Murray. I think you got Ellis. I think you got all of these guys around De'Aaron Fox. Now, I've been watching, and I'm going to pay more attention to him, but I've been watching Malik Monk. And for all intents and purposes, Malik Monk looks pretty good. He does. He looks really good. But is he going to be enough to get them back to the mountaintop, which is where they were? They were third seed before they were decimated by injury. And when I think that when you build a unit around a specific player and that player is gone, you got to completely reconstruct things. It looks real tricky after that. Now, this unit was built around Luka, right? That unit in Dallas was built around Luka. I feel like it's more conducive to what Anthony Davis is as a defender, because PJ Washington, not only PJ Washington, but Lively, all of these guys are defenders. So now this actually makes more sense with Sacramento. So now what we're doing is are we building this unit around Sabonis, or are we just blowing this thing up? because to get DeMar DeRozan, I think that slowed down the progression of Keegan Murray.
I never understood that move at all. And
Yeah.
listen, I love DeMar, but I don't think that was the fit for him.
Yeah.
Or them. I don't think it worked for either side.
So with that being said, with getting DeMar DeRozan, I think that slowed down the progression of Keegan Murray. So now you bring in Zach LaVine also. So two guys who basically do the same thing, and an older guy, right? One of the guys is older. Zach LaVine is having a career year this year. You got a lead guard, but is this unit going to be built more around Sabonis, or is this unit? Or are we just going to keep going in the same direction that we're going in? Because I felt like the direction that they were going in originally. With Fox, with Sabonis, with Keegan Murray, with Ellis.
I liked where they were going.
I felt like that, and they were the number 3 seed. With the number 3 seed in the Western Conference.
I think that was the problem. When they had that really good year 2 years ago, I want to say
23, the year after the Warriors won the championship in 23.
I think it set a level of expectation that was higher, but they were 2 years ahead of where they were supposed to be. And I think the expectation level went up. So then last year they kind of underperformed by those expectations.
Yep.
And then they kind of panicked and made a move that, like I said, that did not work. And then this year, same thing, underperforming. But I think it was, I think it was the success kind of ruined them. And they panicked, and what they should have done was stick to what they were doing because it was working.
Right.
You can have a down year, tweak and go. I thought they stunted everybody's growth and I think it backfired on them.
Which I want to ask you, Tone, because
now,
I feel like,
if I may, and now to your point, now they've got themselves now they have bad roster makeup. So now they're going to have to make 2 or 3 moves to kind of course correct again because DeRozan, LaVine, Monk, these don't fit together. Sabonis and DeRozan alone are kind of mid-range guys, so already not good for today's NBA. This isn't like it was 1992. We're having a different conversation,
right?
But in today's NBA, it's not a good fit. So,
and I think Zach can stretch the defense. I won't argue that. Zach is having I think Zach's having his best year.
He'll help, but you still have these other guys, right?
You like kind of bumping into each other, like Keystone top sort of thing. Which I wanted to ask you, Tone, because I'm looking at the landscape of this crew, and I always feel like that you have a cap, right? I feel like you got a cap on a crew. And when we get to this point, that's it. You're not getting any more. So when I think about Dallas, for example, I think Nico Harrison looked at Luka and said, we ain't winning with him. We're not going to win it with this guy.
Which I can't believe, but yes.
Yes. I think he looked at him.
Yes.
That's what I think. I think he looked at him. I think about I always reference the 2019 Trailblazers when they was in the West Finals. That's it. You're not, it's as far as you're going with this crew. Right? Same thing with the Hawks in 21. That's it, Tone. You're not getting any more. With that being said, it's a 2-part question. One, Tone, did we jump the gun on this Sacramento crew, or did we already get everything that we were going to get and we waited too long?
We got everything we were going to get and they waited too long.
So it's time to move on. So
two things can be true. What I'm doing is I'm taking the oldest guys. I'm seeing if there's contending teams that want them, like the DeMars and heck, even I like Monk, but even Monk, and say, who can I get younger? Who can I get draft picks? Who could, for these guys and kind of redo it? Like the expectations in Sacramento, sorry, Ox, the expectations in Sacramento aren't high. So you tried, you got to a good point.
Yep. You
tried to take the next step. It backfired. Don't keep banging your head against the wall and saying, no. It didn't work.
Fail what?
Fail fast.
Okay,
fail
we did
fast.
it.
Didn't work. Okay. So let's move off these guys. If it's LaVine and Sabonis and whoever, cool. Right. That's who it is. Everybody else, let's start shipping them. Because that's where, because right now, I think there's a lot of teams. I don't think this year is like others where it's all smoke, no fire. Right. I really think you're going to see guys like you're going to see the finally, like Miles, like I'm not talking about huge superstar guys, although I will name a couple, but I think you're going to see Miles Turner finally, Zion finally. Now a little birdie did tell me something about Zion. Heck, even I would say for the right deal, even Joel Embiid might be available. I think Jimmy Butler. I think as much as Pat Riley doesn't want to trade him just out of pride and out of spite.
I do want to get to that. I want you to stay on that, Tone. I want you to hold that. I want you to hold that because I do want to talk about that.
I think Pat Riley is a vengeful and spiteful man, which is what has made him great.
What made him great? Yeah, sure. Yep.
And I think he's not just looking to move Jimmy, and he's not looking just to move Jimmy for what's going to help Miami. I think he's looking to move Jimmy into a bad situation. Oh, you want to go to the Warriors or the Phoenix? I'm going to send you to Alaska. Like, he just wants him to be in a bad situation too. I think that's part of it. He's also wanting to make his team better, like all those other things, of course. Sure. He's not going to take a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack, but he's not Milwaukee. You want to go to Milwaukee? No, with Dame and with things. So I get Chris Middleton and whatever. No, that helps you too much. Nope. Not doing it. Like, I think he's looking for a situation that doesn't help Jimmy.
We're going to get back on Chicago really quickly, but since you brought this up, Tone, I got to ask you, because you just brought up a really interesting point about Pat Riley being one petty, essentially, for lack of a better term. Tone, is Pat Riley petty enough? The trade deadline is Thursday. Don't forget, Jimmy Butler is suspended indefinitely. Is Pat Riley petty enough to let the trade deadline go by and not move Jimmy Butler and keep him home for the rest of the season?
Yes. However, as petty as he is, he's also a businessman.
Yes, he is.
And Jimmy Butler has a $52 million
player
option for next year that he will exercise on Pat Riley.
100%. He's not leaving that on the table.
And Pat Riley's not going to allow him to handcuff him. So I think he's going to get him his coffee beans and a suitcase and send him packing to somewhere he does not want to go. And I don't. If I'm Pat Riley, I'm kind of like him. I'd probably do the same.
I don't blame him.
I'm petty as hell. I would be like, where Charlotte? Here you come. They always said you were MJ's son. Go play with his team.
Yes. Now, with that, I feel like Sacramento, for all intents and purposes, is this unit getting built now around Sabonis, or is this unit? Because if it's not getting built around Sabonis and his skill set, we got to blow this thing up. We do.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Sabonis isn't asking to be moved. And I'll tell you why. One, they had that team around him that had some success, and now they've done everything wrong. He's not stupid. Like, they've seen Sacramento not do the right things and not be competitive. For years. He's in this. He's of the California teams. You get you're last on the list in terms of media exposure.
Even Buffalo, Tone?
Even Buffalo gets more exposure than Sacramento. And I spent a lot when I lived in San Francisco. I was in Sacramento a lot. I really actually like Sacramento, and I don't know if Kevin Johnson's still the mayor there, but it's Sacramento's actually a really nice place. So shout out to Sacramento.
Sure.
But he's like, hold on, I'm an all-star. And I'm not getting any, and I'm not making the all-star team. I'm leading the league in rebounds. I'm this, I'm that. Like, he's having a great year, and nobody knows. And so
nobody cares neither, by the way, Tone. Not only does nobody know, nobody cares neither. The ones who do know, they don't care.
Yeah, and he might just be like, you know what? I think it's time for me to move on too. Like, you moved Fox, you're bringing in Levine, you're going in a different direction, and that's cool. So maybe you should do right by me. So I wouldn't be. I'm not saying he's getting traded, right? And I'm not saying I know that he's at. I'm just saying if I was Sabonis, I could see him, privately, because he's not that type to do it public. Privately being like, hey, if you guys are doing something else, it's cool.
Maybe it's time for me to move on.
Maybe it's time for me.
Maybe it is time for me to move on. Because if you look at the landscape of this crew, Tone, Fox was there first, right? Fox was there first. With Fox being there first, they now trade for Sabonis. You get Sabonis in the fold. In the process of getting Sabonis in the fold, you draft Keegan Murray. In the process of drafting Keegan Murray, Malik Monk walks through the front door for a little bit of money. right? So you're essentially building this unit. You're essentially building this unit around Fox. You get the big man, you got the lead guard, you got the backup lead guard, you got the D&3 guy in Keegan Murray. So you're building this unit around Fox. So now Fox decides not to resign. So with Fox deciding not to resign, what does that mean? Okay, so we brought Sabonis in here to complement Fox. Okay, so Sabonis now is the lone piece left. So now we got to build this. We got to build this unit around Sabonis' skill set. So what is Sabonis' skill set? Sabonis is one of the better passing bigs, glass cleaner. So we need a guard that can speed up the game, that can get the game fast, and because Sabonis is the rebounder that he is, he's deficient on defense. He's not a very good defender. He can knock down a 15-footer. He can knock down the three from time to time. He can do that sort of stuff. And I think Sabonis is 28. I don't think he's that old. I think we got some years left with him. So now we're in a space where we can build this unit either around him or we got to blow this thing up. We have to. One of those two things. Now I want you to compound that tone with the Chicago Bulls giving away Zach LaVine, which, by the way, we now the demolition is in progress. So Lonzo Ball and Vooch are the only two that's left from that crew that was the number one seed.
And I think they're both gone.
I don't understand what they're still doing on the crew.
I don't know how Vooch is still.
I don't.
In fact,
I don't.
In fact, when they told him there was a trade, he thought he was traded.
Lonzo did?
No, Vooch.
Vooch did. Oh, Vooch thought he was traded. Okay.
Vooch thought he was traded. They're like, oh, there's a trade. Oh, where am I going?
But I feel like at least there's a direction. Okay, Zach's gone. DeRozan's gone. Now it's just a matter of what's left with Vooch. And I think they buy out Lonzo. I don't think he plays the whole season there. I think they buy him out.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays the whole season there. And I think this season was a season to show, not that I'm still an elite guard. I think this was a season to show I can hold up. That's it. Yeah. I can stay healthy. I can hold up. Next year is the year, wherever he is to prove that I'm still one of the better guards in the game. I'm still one of those guys. Now, once you do that, okay, Tone, we got our lead guard in Giddey. I like this kid Basellis that they have. In the process of having Basellis, I think the word is that they're going to move off of Kobe White. I don't love it, but okay, you can build around both Giddey and Basellis, and if you can get a top 3 pick,
and didn't they re-up
Pat Williams?
Pat Williams, yeah.
Which I think for Pat Williams, I think that he's out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's out too, and the reason why I think Pat Williams is out is because, one, the contract that they signed him to, which was a $90 million deal, it's very team friendly, which means we can get off of it, and we're going to build this unit around Giddey. We're going to build this unit around Basellis. We're going to build this unit around these two guys and get something substantial in the draft. And if we can get something substantial in the draft and keep going this way and be honest with the people of Chicago, we're not making the playoffs. The Zach LaVine.
They're never like, and no one in Chicago thinks they're going to be competitive.
Yeah,
they're not. They haven't shown that that's what they're interested in doing. I don't know what they're interested in doing other than not spending money.
Right.
So
I feel like there's now a direction in Chicago, which, okay, you still got a young guard in Giddey. You got this kid in Basellis. And now you still have your draft picks, so we can draft, and we got to get it right in the draft. Because remember, Tone, it is Chicago, just like Los Angeles, just like New York, just like Miami. You could get people to come here if you build it, just like Houston.
But they have not, as recently, they have not been great in the draft.
Right. That's what I mean. This is what I mean when I say you got to get it right in the draft.
Ever since that Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry business, okay, Derrick Rose was probably right, but
they did get Derrick Rose right. I mean, and Carlos Boozer, they got him in free agency, or no, they got him in a trade. I'm sorry. They also got Luol Deng, right? So
Jimmy Butler. They got
Jimmy Butler. They got Luol Deng. So they did get some things right in the draft, right? They did get a couple of things right in the draft. So if I did it once, for all intents and purposes, I can probably do it again. But what I have to do if I'm going to do this, Tone,
I feel like Chicago might be my new New York. They might have to hire me as GM.
Well, I'm thinking about the landscape of what's going on in Chicago. Chicago is not Salt Lake City, right? It's not.
No.
You can get guys to come here in free agency if you build this thing the right way. It'll start looking like a place where you want to play, right? It'll start looking like a place where you want to play. It'll start looking like a place where you want to live. It looks like that, so it might work. Hey, little bit.
He said good night.
How are you, dear? It just
can't hear you, but you said good night.
it just looks like a place. It looks like a place where I might want to play. But I think this works out. I definitely think this works out for San Antonio. I think that they got. I think that they got the. I think that they got the long end of the stick. I think Sacramento. I'm not sure exactly what it is they're doing. I'm not.
No, they've like I said. I think they have 2-3 moves to do. I think the Spurs are in great shape with they're cornerstones, right? They're two young guys. They need one more. The thing you had mentioned, I wanted to go back just quickly because you had mentioned Castle. Could Castle be their Manu Ginobili? Could they turn him into, hey, can they convince him to be the sixth man and say, you're going to come in and be the main dude in that second unit that gets the touches, that, gets to do everything?
I don't know if that's going on today, Tone.
Do you think they convince him?
I don't think that's going on today because
yes?
I think we live in a different time.
He says he thinks they could. He thinks that Pop could talk him into it.
I think we live in it. The reason why I don't think that is because him coming out of school and him getting into the role that he got into in San Antonio, which was going to be the heir apparent to Chris Paul. Chris Paul is grooming him to be the heir apparent. Well, then they go out and they get
someone better.
They go out and they get De'Aaron Fox. Well, is that going to be the theory on me? Like, you're going to keep bringing in guys better than me? Well, if that's the case,
want you to lead our second unit. That's what
right.
And if not, move them.
And that's what maybe I don't think I'm a second unit guy. No, I don't think I'm a second unit guy. I think I'm a starter. Now, right. I think it was less difficult.
It's like Manu wasn't a second string guy, but he embraced that role of taking it and embracing it and championships, and he still got all the money, all the fame, all the acknowledgement, all Hall of Fame, blah, blah. He still got everything he wanted, plus he got to run his own unit.
But here's the difference though, Tone. I think it was less difficult to convince Manu. One, we had the influx of the Euro and the foreign player coming in who still was unproven, so there was that tag on him. That's number one. Number two, the players that were in San Antonio at that time who had played there with David Robinson, with Tim Duncan, I think it was less difficult to convince Manu Ginobili than it would be to convince Castle, who is playing already.
Yeah,
who I think is already playing at that level, who thinks that he's a starter.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: if you're a point guard, and you won't even have that conversation because you think you're a starter, and you put yourself and your role above team, above winning championships, and you say, "Hey, at 6'6", I want you to lead the second unit. You're going to get the touches. You're going to facilitate. You're going to get the most. You're going to shoot the most shots with that second unit. Oh, and by the way, late game situations, we're okay with 2 point guards. We're okay with you and Fox, because you have the size at 6'6" to play next to him. Because there's that when things get helter skelter, I want 2 guys who can run the point. That's not crazy in today's NBA.
And coming off the bench, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm a bench guy. I can come off the bench and play.
Doesn't matter who starts the game; it's who finishes the game.
I can play starter minutes coming off the bench.
I don't want you as my point guard if you can't understand that and not have the conversation now.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're going to do it 100%. What?
I think this was. I think this was a good trade for San Antonio. Sacramento again. I don't think that
we're going to see 10 trades and 3 big names moved.
So we're not done yet. So we got so come Thursday, it's gonna get really busy.
Come Thursday, 3 of these players will be moved.
Right.
No surprise. Jimmy Butler, Pascal Siakam, Zion Williamson, Joel Embiid. Let me pick two more.
Pascal Siakam. Wow, Tone.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'll leave it at that. I'm telling you, a couple of those dudes are getting traded.
Shit.
I'm telling you.
I can see Zion.
I haven't.
The reason why I can see Zion.
Every day I'm hearing Zion to Toronto to be reunited with RJ. Every day I'm hearing that.
That was, to be honest with you, Tone, that was at the top of my list. When I was thinking about potential trade guys, I was thinking about Toronto. And the reason why I was thinking about Toronto, and hear me out for a second, Tone, I was thinking about Toronto because I remember last season, Zion in New Orleans with Coach Willie Green. He had Zion at the lead guard spot, and he was fantastic. You move Zion, and I actually had I had it written down. Let me see if I can find it really quickly because
while you look, yes. I'll tell you why I had it. One, I know that RJ Barrett's doing almost without doing the Jordan Pippen with the Jordan shoes on finger wave to Zion trying to tell him to come up here. But two, one thing I know about Toronto, and you saw it when they had Kawhi Leonard up here. Their training staff is one of, if not the best in the league. And if anyone's going to keep him healthy and in shape, it's here. And I think there's, some familiarity, like I said, with RJ, who's from, let's not forget, he is Canadian. His dad, who I played against in high school, Rowan Barrett, played for Team Canada. So there's, he can get him assimilated to Canada. It's not that different, by the way, in Toronto, but that being so there's a fit there that just kind of makes sense. And I think he needs a new scenery. Let me give you the list again. So
Toronto's not a hick town, by the way, just so we clear.
Toronto's just about the same size. It goes back and forth with Chicago with who has more people. Zion, Butler, Embiid, Siakam, and Brandon Ingram was my so yes, did you find it?
Yeah, I did, Tone. I did find it. And I'm thinking to myself, because Zion's on the books for $39 million, right? So we got to make the money work. So I was thinking Zion to Toronto. Y'all already want to come off of Bruce Brown, right?
That's the name that's 100% being thrown out there. Yes.
You already want to come off of Bruce Brown. So that's $23 million right there. I know you're not going to feel this, but how about you hand over Chris Boucher? And in the process of handing him over, give me Davion Mitchell too. Deal's done.
I don't think they're moving off Davion Mitchell. They like him a lot. Chris Boucher, Toronto loves him. Coach Darko does not. He has been exceptional for Toronto, rebounding, scoring. If you go look, he's 17 minutes, 22 points, 19 minutes, 27 points. He is solid energy guy off the bench, good rebounds, block shots, can hit the three. He would be a great role player for a contending team. I really like Chris Boucher, but I know that coach isn't high on him. So Boucher and Brown, I think for sure. I think they want to hold on to Davion. I think they want to hold on to Pirtle. Obviously, Scotty Barnes. Don't be surprised, although he's struggled with injuries this year because you haven't seen him that much. Don't be surprised if they get IQ out of there. Emmanuel.
Because I was thinking Zion at the one.
And only because he's been injured and they found ways to win without him. Like they're on a 5-game winning streak. They lost.
Paid him though. That's the problem. They did pay him, so it might be hard to move his deal.
I think he's shown his value. I think he has shown his value. I think a team could really use an IQ.
I think so too.
I don't think they want to, but I think for the right package back, I think they're, they were going to be sellers, and now they're like, well, maybe we're going to be buyers because they have a chance at sneaking into the playoffs, into the play-in, and so
So if I move off of Quigley. And I bring in Zion. So I put Zion at the 1. I put RJ at the 2. I put Scotty Barnes at the 3. I go get a 4-man in the draft. I go get a 4-man in the draft. I still got to get a 5-man too.
Well, look, he's not a prototypical 5, but Pirtle has been doing for this type of team, for a play-in caliber team. Pirtle has been. He's been good.
Solid. Yes, he's been solid. 100% he has.
He's a good gap center. I'd love for him to come off the bench, but
yes, he's been solid.
So we have headlines, and then we're going to open it up. And don't forget, did you mention Dick?
I did not. No, I did not.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you mentioned Grady Dick. They also have, there's like, if you look at the roster, so Barnes is staying, Dick is staying, RJ Barrett is staying, Pirtle I think is staying unless they get a good deal for him. I think IQ could be had. Davion Mitchell I think they want to keep. Boucher I think they can be had.
Yeah,
O'Shea Abaji I think is one of their young guys that they want to keep, but again, if salary needs to be, Bruce Brown they're trying to get rid of. They also have Kelly Olynyk, Jamal Sheed. So I think after that we can kind of, they've got some older guys and Garrett Temple, whatever. So there's some pieces there that they're not, too in love with, that they're saying, no way I'm going to make this move. But being said, I want to have some time for our people because I'm sure they have a bunch of trade questions, scenarios, rumors, etc. So here we go. Kobe Bryant in the news. This is so old, but it keeps popping up every once in a while. The Nets. We passed on Kobe because we thought he was going to play in Italy. That's former Nets assistant GM Bobby Marks talking to Windhurst on ESPN. We've talked about it. It was John Calipari, head coach at the time. His agent told everybody other than the Lakers, not just the Nets, if you draft him, he's going to go play in Italy. Kobe had later come out and said, no, whoever drafted me, I was playing for them.
He was going to play there.
How silly is that they would pass on him? Or let me do an either or. We have a super chat too. So Mello, I apologize. I'll get to your super chat in 1 second. What's a bigger mistake? The fact that the Nets were dumb enough to listen that he would play in Italy and didn't draft him, or the fact that the Clippers worked him out and said that was the best worker we've ever seen and didn't draft him because they thought they would be embarrassed for drafting a kid, an 18-year-old out of high school or 17-year-old out of high school.
I think it's it's the Clippers. So let's start there.
It's always the Braves.
It's the Clippers. So leave it to the Clippers to say that this is the best looking woman that I've ever seen in my life who wants to marry me. But nobody would,
and funny,
beautiful,
no red
great job. Yes, but she wants to marry me, but nobody will take me serious if I actually married her. Yeah, it's the Clippers, Tone. So nothing surprises me with them. What boggles my mind with the Nets is that it was a bluff, and they bought it. They didn't call them on it. That was it more than anything. Because remember when we are at this time, Tone, it's the mid-90s, 1996, and high school players coming out in the draft. This kind of thing, just like the year before that, it was Kevin Garnett. So it just started. So it's not like these guys got a lot of cachet, right? It's not like it is 5-10 years later where now you got an influx of high school players. No, you're still in a position, right? You're still in a position where you get to call the shots. And they're looking at Kobe as a high school player. Well, he can't be better than Kerry Kittles right now, even though he is. Even though he 100% is better than Kerry Kittles right now. And if you draft him, he's probably going to be your starting two guard next season, without a doubt. He's going to be your starting two guard. But I think it was the high school allure. I think it was them taking a chance on a high school player, kind of like what was going on with the Clippers where nobody, because I'm in Jersey, right? I grew up there. Is anybody going to take them serious? You just drafted a high school kid. This isn't going to last. High school kids, you go to, because at that time you went to college, right? You went to college and you stayed unless you were Chris Webber, right? Unless you were the best player in the country, you went to school and you stayed in school. So a high school kid that goes, yo, if you draft me, I'm going to Italy. That's a bluff because he 100% is coming to Jersey if you drafted him.
Listen, I still would have drafted him and said, go ahead, go to Italy. I own your rights.
Right.
FYI, though, Kittles was legit. Like he cooked us.
Yes.
I briefly mentioned the Mavericks trading Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin. News? No news.
I think it's news, Tone. Absolutely. I think it's news. Don't forget, I think that Pat Riley put a deal for $40 million on the table and he passed. He passed on it. And now he finds himself in a position where he overvalued himself. And now he's bouncing around, turning into a journeyman again instead of taking what was on the table. He thought that when he played, they went to the finals, that he was going to get a big payday, which that payday right there could have very well been his payday, and that could have led to something else. But instead, nope. I think he overvalued himself. I think he overpriced himself. And I think he found himself in a space where here we are.
I feel like every time these guys turn down big money, I don't know of a case where it's actually paid off in any sport. Basketball, like wasn't it Dennis Schroeder that turned down big money and
$84 million. He said he didn't do it. Yes, you did.
Yes, he did. Le'Veon Bell in football just was like, nah, I'm going to sit out a year.
Yeah. No way.
In parenting news, Stephen A. Smith recently came out and said, please, as a father, send Bronny back to the G League where he belongs, which is true, and he should. And some people took that as him trying to give LeBron parenting advice. I've asked a bunch of parents. I played the full clip, and they all said that doesn't sound like he's giving them parenting advice. It sounds like they're talking about basketball, and he gave them basketball advice because the G League is what's best for Bronny today. But of course, the LeBronaholics are out there saying, well, look what happened to Jordan's son. He just got arrested for cocaine possession and resisting assault. And they're asking, will Stephen A. Smith now tell Jordan to be a better parent? If I may, because I know you don't necessarily want to talk about this, but if you do you have something? I have an opinion, but do you
I'm
have?
listening to you. Yeah, we can talk about it. Sure.
My opinion is this: Marcus Jordan is 34 years old. Did you hear anything about him doing any kind of nonsense up until the age of 32? What changed in his life at the age of 32?
I believe a damsel named Larsa Pippen. I believe that's enter Larsa Pippen.
I drank a beer.
Absolutely correct. I'm not letting Jordan off the hook because I don't think he would have been a good dad in the sense that he's way too competitive. He would have been he might have been a little difficult to deal with, and he might have taken it personal if I didn't listen. However, the dude's 34. At this point, I can't now. If I'm comparing him to Bronny's 20. Let's see what Bronny does at 34, because guess what's going to happen? He's not going to make the NBA. He's not going to be a superstar. He's going to be a disappointment by the standards set by his father, who's one of, so we keep the debate out, one of the top 2 greatest basketball players ever.
Yep.
He is going to pale in comparison to his dad. You don't know what kind of girl he's going to get mixed up with, and when he's 34, what he's going to be doing. I see kids like Will Smith's son wearing a damn house on his head at the Grammys, and I think, I don't know that good parent, bad parent. I don't know. I think these kids are just messed up.
Yes.
But I doubt I think Stephen A. Smith's thing was from a basketball perspective, so I doubt that he's going to go talking about the drugs and the resisting arrest. But let's be honest. Let's put the blame where it's supposed to be. 1, Marcus is a grown-ass man. He needs to make his own decisions. 2, it's that damn woman.
100% it is. I want that part I won't even argue at all. And Marcus Jordan at 20 years old, where was he? He was at the University of Central Florida, and he was playing basketball. He was really good at that time, playing basketball. His other son played basketball at the University of Illinois, graduated from college. These guys were model citizens. I hadn't heard anything about Marcus Jordan. I hadn't heard anything about Jeffrey Jordan. I hadn't heard anything about these guys. Now, as a 34-year-old adult that's gotten himself mixed up with the wrong people and the wrong crowd, that is not Jordan's fault. That is not Jay's fault. Jay did everything he possibly could to steer this kid in the right direction. He did everything he could to make sure that this kid stayed on the straight and narrow. The kid went to college. He graduated. He was, for all intents and purposes, in the family business, running things.
Sometimes when you get things too easy, though.
Yeah.
And it's funny because wasn't it Jordan himself with Charles Barkley sitting on Oprah saying when these guys are given contracts before they've proven anything, it ruins their work ethic.
100%. I don't think Jay gave him anything, to be quite honest with you. No, I think what Jay did was I think he made him go to school, and I think he made him make his own way. I think so. For example, he's got a store up in Orlando. I think it's called 23 Forever, and it's Jordan gear, right?
Yeah.
Well, his father didn't just give him money for this. He had to put together a business plan.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, good.
Yes, he had to put together.
That's the one thing I love about Shaq, right?
Yes.
When his kids are like, "We rich," and he's like, "Nah, I'm rich."
Yes, not you.
Me. Now come to a business plan. Come with me to a business plan or whatever. Yeah, I'll invest just like it. But
right, he came to him with it. He came to him with his team. He came to him with a business plan. All right, Dad, this is my idea. This is what I got. This is what I think. This is what I think this could be. And Jordan bought it. Like, you know what? I don't hate that. I think that we can do something with this, and it worked. Right. So he was doing that, and in the process of him doing that, Tone, I tell you, man, some of the which at this point it really boils my blood when I think about it, getting involved with that woman, knowing who she was, especially as a kid, knowing who she was.
Because that couldn't have helped Jordan and Pippen's relationship either.
Oh, it didn't. I think that's what wrecked their relationship.
Oh,
I do. I think that's what wrecked their relationship. Him getting involved with her, knowing for a fact who she was, what she was about, and what it would do to his family. That burns me, Tone. I'm on record saying
you remember that song, The Power of the PU.
Some of the biggest problems that I've ever had in my life, Tone, have been with some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. I promise you. That woman, when he got involved with her,
crazy quotient. You gotta.
Yes, that's what it is. When he got involved with her, I was like, she is bad news. This is a woman who was around when he was this big, when he was a child, and now they're sleeping together. No, this is a recipe for disaster. No.
We've talked a lot about Luka, but let me give you a quote. I thought I was going to stay my whole career there. Loyalty is a big word for me, but I got the ocean here. I get to play for the Lakers. Do you truly believe he was blindsided truly by this and he had no idea this? I do, but you believe that he was?
I do, Tony. He just bought a house. He just closed on a $15 million house in Dallas. He had no intentions of going anywhere. Zero. He thought he was gonna be Dirk. I'm gonna play my entire career here. I'm never gonna move. I'm never gonna get traded. This is where I'm gonna be for the duration of my career. I'm not gonna bounce around and play for 4 or 5 different teams and move to 4 and 5 different places. Nope. I'm gonna stay right here the entire time, and I'm gonna be here for my career. Now, there are some people, Tone, who will tell you, well, players don't have to be loyal because organizations aren't loyal. Well, that's not news. We know that. You work here. It's a job. And at any point, when you first told me, at any point you can be moved. You and I sat down and had a conversation, Tone, about who was untouchable. Tone told me nobody is untouchable. The question is who would pull the trigger? Because it could happen. That's the Giannis. If somebody called up Milwaukee with the right package and prodded and poked enough for long enough, Giannis could get traded. How do I know that? Because I saw Wayne Gretzky get traded in his prime. So if Wayne Gretzky could get traded, Giannis could get traded too. Yes, 100% he can.
Listen, even Tekashi 6ix9ine thought he couldn't get touched. Everyone can get touched.
Yes.
So there is news out of The Athletic that the Dallas Mavericks aren't done, and them and the Houston Rockets are making moves to get Kevin Durant, as they believe Phoenix is looking to retool that roster. What do you think of KD to the Mavs or KD to the Rockets, or is this all just smoke with no fire?
Tone, I remember hearing Bill Laimbeer say about the bad boys? Nobody likes me. Nobody likes Rick. People starting to dislike Isaiah Moore. You know what? Let's be the bad boys. Let's just do it. Let's just stop running from it, and let's just be the bad boys. Well, I want to compound that with KD. KD, you've already taken it there. Demand to get traded to the Lakers. Demand it.
To the Lakers.
Take it there, KD.
Not to the Rockets or the Mavs. To the
Lakers. Take it there, KD. Don't waste any more time. Nobody like everybody after everything that you already did, people already look at you funny anyway. You already got traded you already went to Brooklyn. From Brooklyn, you demanded to get traded, and you got traded to Phoenix. They already feel the way that they do about you. Embrace that hate. Embrace it.
Not back to the Warriors. You think to the Lakers.
Demand it. Embrace that hate. Embrace it. You already there. You are already there. 100%. Embrace it and be it. And you might as well. While you embracing that hate, you might as well win, right? Because that's what you're going there for. That's exactly what you're going there for. You might as well go there to win. So what are you? I'm not going to. Let's be clear about one thing, Tone. I'm not going to Los Angeles just to go there. I'm not going to Los Angeles just to be there. No, I'm going to Los Angeles. One, y'all hate me anyway. And number two, I want to compound that by winning. So with me, James,
I'm
Luka,
good with that.
Why not?
Listen,
Why not?
we know for a fact that Tony Durant watches because he comes after me in my DM. So Tony, talk to your bro. Bring him to the Lakers. I'll become a fan. I'll get his jersey.
You might as well embrace it. Mm-hmm.
Listen, you know, if you put on a Lakers jersey, I don't care who buys it for me. You know. You
might
know.
Well, you might as well embrace it. I think that this.
I will buy. Don't fall over there, LeBron. I will buy a Durant Laker jersey if he comes to the Lakers.
Honestly, Tone, I think the Houston and the Dallas thing, I think it's smoke and mirrors. I don't think that. Yeah, I think it's smoke and mirrors. I don't think it's something that's realistic when you're talking about, him getting traded to Dallas. Like if he gets traded to Dallas, like
who would Phoenix?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. If you look at the landscape,
you want to have Kyrie, KD, Durant. Durant. You'd want to have Kyrie, KD, and AD.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Phoenix is not taking Gafford. Phoenix ain't taking. I think they would entertain Lively, but Lively is still on his Rook deal, right? Lively is still on his Rook deal, so he's not really making a lot of money. I think Gafford is on the books for like 20 something.
You know what they'd have to do?
Got to get a third team involved.
You got to
get a third team involved.
You just made the list.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Mello Williams with the chat that's super. Trade Austin Reeves for Dyson Daniels. Hell yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
Atlanta, click. Thank you, but no thanks. Thank you, but no thanks. We appreciate it.
From a Lakers perspective, you're with me.
Hell yes.
In a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yes. From a Lakers standpoint, absolutely. But as far as Atlanta, hell no. This is before Jalen Johnson got hurt. I think this is the most talented unit that Trae Young has ever been on, from a collection of talent with Hunter, with Dyson Daniels, with Trae, with Dyson Daniels, Hunter, Trae, Jalen Johnson, Bojan, Okongwu. I think this is in terms of a collection of talent, I think this is the best team that he's ever been on. So with that being said, the last thing I want to do is move off of that and give the Lakers an all-league defender. Because I think I'm going to say this to you guys one more time for the people in the cheap seats. We've already seen the super team era. Just because Luka got traded to the Lakers does not mean that the super teams are back. James is 40 years old. It's not like he's going to be there for another 5-6 years. That's not happening. He's not. I think he's going to be there for another. I think this is a 36-month plan, Tone.
But Luka did just get added to the graphic of All-Star, Hall of Fame, All-NBA. Do you know how many All-NBA players have been traded mid-season, so half a season after they've been All-NBA?
I don't. Not off the top of my head, I don't.
You want to take a guess how the number?
All NBA players traded mid-season.
They made all NBA, and then the following season get traded mid-season.
Mid-season.
Like Doncic. So Green, you're
I'm
wrong
gonna say
already.
0. So I'm gonna say 0.
Well, it's Doncic, so I know there's at least one.
Okay, just with the exception of Luka, 0.
5. But when I tell you the list and the times, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. So the first one was George Yardley, who got traded from Detroit to Sacramento in 1959.
How about that?
Wilt Chamberlain, who of course got traded from San Francisco to Philadelphia. Truck Robinson in 79 from New Orleans to Phoenix. Yep. James Harden, we forget, from Houston to Brooklyn.
He did get traded middle of the season. That's correct.
How many players, one more trivia, and then we're going to get to you guys waiting to talk. How many all NBA and all defensive players in one season, so guys who are all defense and all NBA in the same season, have been traded mid-season, like Anthony Davis just was?
Right. All NBA. So all NBA and all defense in the middle of the season. I'm going to say less than 5.
Less than 5 is correct. The number is 3.
Yeah.
AD, Gary Payton, Jimmy Butler. That's the list.
That's it. How about that?
The list. Okay, one more. Doncic. I'll just tell you. Doncic, 5 All-NBA first-team selections.
Straight, by the way.
Tie him with Tim Duncan and Kevin Durant for the most selections in league history by a player 25 years or younger. Yes, he turns 26 in a month, I think, or something like that, which is cool. All right. Where'd Leaf go? Oh, there he is. What up?
What's going on, bro? I gotta do something that I don't like doing, and that's basically co-sign with Chilltown. In terms of the trade, everything that he said and everything that Nico Harrison was talking about, and was alluding to, the friendship that he got with Rob Pelinka, and also the relationship that he got with AD that I just found out about because somebody was telling me about that. It's all 100% true. They didn't like where Luka trajectory was headed. They didn't like where his conditioning was headed, and they didn't like the fact about coming out of pocket and paying him 5 years, $350 million. That's what this shit was all about, man. And Chilltown was talking about that yesterday, and I basically said every word about that. I was up when the trade happened, and I said to myself, I'm like, the first thing I did was look at Luka's contract, and I said, oh, that's why they did this shit. And it basically comes back to, it somewhat comes back to LeBron James in that first Cleveland stint. Like, I think organizations and some GMs are to the point where, we not gonna be held hostage on no last year, no contract. That shit ain't gonna happen.
Not get left holding the bag. I'm not gonna get left holding the bag. Nope. I'm
not gonna get left holding none of that. So the reality is that I think that Nico Harrison was just waiting for everybody that was pro Luka in the organization that was important to hit the back door and then finally make his move. For you to keep this shit this quiet and to make this move the way that you did, man, listen. And on the other hand, the Lakers was desperate enough to find somebody at the age of 25 that they could sell tickets, sell jerseys, sell merch, and they could tell LeBron, bye.
Well, they're looking for their franchise player. They're looking for their franchise player to move forward with.
And Fluent, I gotta say, I'm proud of the Lakers. They taking their damn franchise back. Taking their damn franchise back from Clutch Sports, LeBron James, and all of this other nonsense that's been going on for the past 7 years.
Bro, JJ, hold on. JJ's still the coach? Bronny's still playing for the team? They ain't taking nothing back yet.
Oh, no, not yet, but they will. That's believe. The one thing about it, Fluent, bro, and listen, y'all both know this. The Lakers was around 40 years before LeBron James was born, and they're going to be around 40 years after his death. That's guaranteed.
I will say this. I will say the one thing that I can see with this, what you're saying, is that I know that the Lakers didn't want to find themselves in the same situation they were in when Kobe was gone. because
Right.
those years between even the last couple of years of Kobe, granted there was injuries, but between Kobe and LeBron signing, they were horrible. And no matter what the reputation of the Lakers is in LA, you can't be worse. One, you can't be worse than those damn Braves. And two, you can't be bad because people will stop coming to see you and they have to be good. So they are smart. Now they have LeBron and Luka. So as LeBron transitions out, they have their guy. They won't be, as long as you have Luka, you won't be that bad. So they were smart this time. Because they learned.
And two more things before I go. First off, I had Dallas marching back to the finals long before this trade happened anyway. So this only thing they need to make another deal for probably a guard, and I think they there. This is a 3-year window. I say 2.5 if you really want to be like current about it, because don't nobody really trust in AD's health like that for some reason, bro. I don't subscribe to the AD health shit because the last 3 years.
Old and you need to look.
Yeah, it's old. It's old. It's old as hell. And about this KD crap, and about the Warriors calling everybody up, all of these teams is just trying to follow some BS mold that they seen the Lakers get away with. They figure,
hey, Leaf, I'm not helping you. Period. Don't call me.
Sure ain't.
I'm not. All of them years you was
sitting on my goddamn phone.
You was sitting on that damn hill. And you was loving life. You was loving life. Everything was great. You was sitting up there. Now all of a sudden, the bank account a little bit low. Now all of a sudden, the house dirty, and you calling me. You asking me for money. Click. I ain't helping your ass. You know why?
I'm not helping you.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You worth $8.5 billion with Steph, and now you're trying to load the bank up. Stop trying to put KD on these super teams. Stop trying to put Jimmy Butler or somebody else. They don't deserve it. Let them rock.
The Warriors shot themselves in the foot, and I told you, Jay, it was going to happen when their salary plus tax plus was like $800 million. And I said, you watch. Why do you think the GM jumped ship? He knew there would have to be a point when they brought that number.
He knew.
And now they're like, oh, no, we stink. What do we got to do? Well, it's too late.
Of course he knew. But listen, hey, listen, I was busy watching my game. We actually challenging the hell out of the Rockets. I was doing my game on my page, but appreciate y'all time. Chill. I get tired of agreeing with them, but I got to, bro. Like, listen, definitely.
All right, later, brother.
Later, yo.
Baba.
What up?
Is it Baba? Is it Baba? You always correct me. Jay, you always correct me. Is it Baba or is it Baba?
I don't know.
It's Baba. But I just wanted to say thanks again though for letting me. Before you get into your basketball stuff, why is it Baba? Honestly, it's just my nickname. I'm African, so it means grandfather. So
okay, so it's interesting because you should get your girl to call you Baba, because Baba in Greek means dad. So you could be she calls you daddy. So you get.
Just so you know, there's a dude, I don't even pay attention to it no more, but there's a dude that trolls me in the chat on the panel named Baba.
Oh yeah. That's
different
not me
Baba?
though.
Yeah.
Huh?
Is that G Cuts?
No, he's a kid. He's a kid.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate you guys, letting me through. So you guys got to do this more often. I feel like Tuesdays is not it. You guys got to do more days for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, what day? Man,
every single day besides Saturday and Sunday. But I know you guys got other obligations.
He's on the panel 11 to 1 every single day.
He ain't talking about me though. He's talking about you and me, Tone.
11. Oh, I didn't even know that. Honestly,
11 to 2.
Yeah, there you go. See, on Player's Choice. Go check him out. I don't have the time to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes. Keep going.
I like you guys' energy. So I think with what he said, I disagree. I think AD's really soft as continental tissues. I think he probably has like one. I'm being nice. I think Bron too, and the Lakers know he probably has like one good year left, because he just is so he's making me smarter every time I watch him play, because some of the injuries that you never know could be an injury is an injury with him. So, but
what if I told you What if I told you 5 of the 6 years that Anthony Davis played in New Orleans, he played 68 games on average. That's 80% of the games. What if I told you that since 2019, the 2019-2020 season, he's played more games up until this point than Curry, Leonard, KD, and Paul George?
That's crazy.
Last season alone, he was in the top 10 in the league in minutes, and he only missed 6 games. This season, he's only missed 5 games. That's playing 90% of the games. We got dead this whole like injury thing. The soft tag, he got that when he came to LA. He did not have that tag when he was in New Orleans. He was not soft. He got that tag when
New
he came to
Orleans
Los
is not
Angeles.
playing in meaningful games though.
I think it comes from this though. In the last 4 seasons, he's missed 110 games out of a possible 318.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1/3. That looks like a lot. However, last year he played 76. This year he has missed 9?
5 games.
Well, 5 games.
Almost 90% of the games
is
he's played.
changing. Let me ask you: are you a fan of any team?
Well, I mean, the Lakers, they pretty much, I think they cooked themselves a little bit because I do.
Are you a fan?
Bron's
Is
my
that your
favorite player? Yeah, Bron's my favorite player. Yeah. So
okay. Okay. So how do you feel about Joel Embiid?
Oh, him and Zion, they're up. I'm glad you said it too earlier. They're up next. They're saying, "Oh, nobody's safe." These guys are stealing money. This is the greatest PTO anyone could ever have.
Because Joel Embiid has played like 466 games and missed 400. Like it's not even. AD is not even on his radar for how many games being missed.
Well, man. Oh my God, he should be arrested for theft. Joel Embiid, seriously, that is insane. Oh man, could we all have this kind of PTO? Oh my goodness. But also too, I think
that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of 5 NBA seasons Joel Embiid has missed. Get Joel Embiid ass out of here, man.
That's crazy. But with Sabonis too, because you guys made a comment. Here's the thing: if you want me to be honest with you, and I'm going to be very brutally blunt here, unless it's injury, he's just never going to be an all-star. The West is too deep in his position. They got Sengun that pretty much now
is better than. Who he's better than.
But he's on lock because he's young. They're going to ride that wave, And then they got, obviously, Jokic, Anthony Davis.
Sengun. He's saying they're going to pick Sengun over Sabonis to be an all-star. That's why he's for trading. Come back to the East.
Yeah, he needs, and that's the smart thing with Towns, too, because by him going to the East, he can now get more money, through making all NBA and and all stars. But I don't even think Cat's even better than half the bigs in the West as well. So, but I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts though, on where like what kind of I feel like this chapter in the NBA, right, is very crucial because when KD, Bron, and Steph retire, I feel like they're trying to just force feed a lot of people now to be the faces of the NBA. Because if you think about it, who does Jason Tatum hate the most? Like in terms of competition, that they just
hate. Who does he hate the most?
Who does he hate the most?
He probably hates Jaylen Brown the most, but
Miami.
No, he hates Luka. So they're trying to spark that rivalry again, the Lakers and Celtics rivalry. So I was just curious about you guys' thoughts though with the next chapter after Bron and Steph and KD retire.
I think they've already made their decision that Wemby is going to be the face of the league, and everybody else, be it Giannis, Tatum, Luka, are all just fillers until Wemby takes over.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, and I think the Kings had the biggest F job, or I'm not gonna swear, but they just messed up. You can't get rid of Tyrese Halliburton, and then now you got rid of so they're gonna keep Sabonis because
Moore is now gone. Yeah,
it's messed up. But thank you guys again, though.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Bubba. Next up is Primo.
Hey, yo.
What's up?
You.
I made it this time. Last time I skipped out. My phone rung.
Oh, okay. I remember last week. Yes, okay.
Well, what's up, Chill? What's up?
What up, my dude?
Show, man. This is my favorite show.
What up, my dude?
Yeah, just came in just to say a couple things. I think about the Mavericks situation. You don't think the owner, the one that really put the play down and just threw him out there so he could take the brunt of this? Because
Well,
you
he had
don't
to.
trade that type of player like
That's
that.
well, he had to get the thumbs up. It wasn't just him. You don't make a deal like this unless you go up to the higher
You
ups.
can't.
You got to go talk to the dudes who signed the checks. You have to.
You don't trade a 5-time All NBA first teamer. The owner ain't said a thing yet. I ain't seen no statement. I've been everywhere. Twitter. I've been all over the place.
Well, the reason why, Primo, is because it is your job, and I'm gonna let you handle this. But of course, he came to him. You know, I'm gonna stay out of this in terms of the media. But of course, he had to go to him. He had to.
He had to.
I believe it's
He had to let him know.
It's to her. By the
they
way,
like, why didn't they call
it's to
LeBron?
her, for the
What'd you
record.
say? My bad.
Yeah, it's Miriam Adelson, who's her family that owns the Sands Casino. So whether it's her or a representative on her behalf, for sure that conversation was had, and it was probably went like this: are we really going to pay him $350 million? No. Okay, then make a move. All right.
Why not? You gotta. Why not? Who else?
Primo, the reason why you don't is because, again, you looking at it from Luka being 25 years old, Luka being as good as he is right now. They around him a day. They know everything about Luka. They know his eating habits. They know where he sleep at. They know who he hang around. They know how he move. They know his practice habits. They know his work ethic. They know his diet. They know all of this stuff. In the process of them knowing all of this stuff about him, is it fiscally realistic for us to pay him these 2 more years that we owe him, and then to put $350 million with what we see? But the problem is with him already, with him being out of shape, with him complaining to referees, with him complaining to referees, with him being out of shape, his conditioning, his ability to play defense, his effort. Is it realistic for us to 5 years from now, we halfway through that $350 million deal, and the problems that we having with him now, physically, him being on defense, the problems that we having with him now, 5 years from now, they're going to look even worse. Is $70 million a season worth that? Nah.
Yes.
Yo. And on top of that, Primo, I think Nico Harrison looked at Luka and said, we ain't winning it with him. We not winning it.
You think they're going to win it with Anthony Davis?
I think that this is a 3-year window, and I think that they're going to make some moves within these 3 years. Yes.
I think
they might leave.
No. No, Primo.
The Dallas Mavericks is going to win
not today. Not today. Not today. That's why I think this is a 3-year window. I think this is a 3-year window that we got.
I think the Lakers got a better chance to win it than them two together with some pieces around them. Got a better chance to win it than Dallas. But you imagine them two in the playoffs?
Here's exactly what happened. Miriam, I don't think we can win with this guy. He's a little out of shape. He's a whiner, and I can save you $350 million. And Miriam went,
bet.
Let's do it.
Do it.
The owner of because everyone's on poor Mike Cuban.
The one that got him out of here.
That's the one that
got him out of here. Dude just taking the blame for it.
Deal.
She got him out of here.
Make it happen. That's what she did.
Get him out of here. We don't got time to call LeBron or nobody. Just
make it happen.
Do it now. I wouldn't have called LeBron. You want to give me Luka right now? We don't got time to call LeBron. Let's just sign it over immediately so we can get this done before you change your mind.
Matter of fact, yes. Hurry this up before we get in trouble.
Yeah, hurry this up.
Primo, we got to move, brother.
We're appreciate you, Primo.
We got to move. Good to talk to you, brother.
So the next people coming up, let's keep it as quick as we can. Ori, Hoop Social. What up, Ori?
What's good, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. What up?
Okay, I must be living in the Twilight Zone.
No, you're not.
Or
nope,
OG,
you're not.
OG is on the Lakers payroll or something. Something's going on because I don't understand how the Lakers are not pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. Like, wait a second. This guy was top 5 player at the beginning of the season, and now all of a sudden he's like a fat stinking drunk, and he can't stay on the court. Like, I just feel like the narrative has swapped so fast that I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I know it's crazy. Now, Ori, remember too, this isn't in the short term. this is a long-term investment for Luka. This isn't today. No, this is Rob Pelinka going, I can fix this dude. I can fix this dude. In Dallas, we got 3 years to do it. This got to work. This has to work within the next 3 years. With Luka, we got 3 years.
But the Lakers,
we got some time.
I feel like they just got handed a star.
That's why I don't believe that. That's why I don't believe that LeBron didn't know.
Yes.
That's why I don't believe he didn't know, because two things why I think he knew. One, I feel like Rob would have went to him and said, do you think you can get him in shape, for lack of a better term? It was probably not those exact words. Two, right after they beat the Knicks, and I know I'm harping on one line, but did you see the interview with LeBron right after, on court, right after they beat the Knicks?
I did see that.
Did you see it where he's kind of like, yeah, our defense really stepped up, and you know, moving forward without AD, we're going to need to play defense like that more often.
Something subliminal that we don't know that they know. Mm-hmm.
Now, did he just mean because he's injured? I don't know. Maybe.
And to your point, Ori, maybe, like we talked about this fat, out of shape, drunk. Hey, man, don't forget, I mean, that is his mantra. He is out of shape. That is a fact. Like, that's not something that you're making up. That's not a narrative.
And that does hold water, I suppose, but it feels like the narrative between, like if you just told me that you're going to trade a top 5 25-year-old for an arguably top 15 31-year-old.
No, like, he's top 10.
Arguably top 15. No,
he's okay. Fair enough. Top 10. I'm this season, I'll give you that. Okay. But nonetheless,
last season too.
As a 31-year-old, we'd have to say.
But hold on. If I said to you, though, I'm going to trade our 25, soon to be 26, out of shape, top 5 player who I'm going to have to pay $350 million to, for an all defensive 31-year-old who makes significantly less money, and a very young, very defensive minded, which suits our team better, Max Christie, would you do it?
And Ori, by the way, we got 3 years to make this work. 3 years.
That's a different conversation. And again, I'm still thinking we won this trade. And when I say we, I mean the Lakers.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean, like, when people are saying, oh, you know, they got fleeced, they didn't get fleeced.
Okay. Well, okay.
Think of the big picture.
Yes. The last piece.
The team that wins the trade typically is the team that gets the better player. They got the best player in this trade, obviously.
But I guess the piece that leads to the fleeced belief, in my opinion at least, is the mystery surrounding why only this deal. Like the market for Luka seems like would be quite substantial.
Because
I mean, I understand, like, you want to keep a certain level of I don't know, if money's the issue, why wouldn't you play the entire market?
Because you can't. Because one, how many like, okay, if I run to, and we're and Jay Fernandez, we're gonna get. I know we're super late. Sorry, Jay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We're gonna get to, no, it's okay. But if I just go through here, give me the top 10 players in the NBA right now.
Well, I'm sorry, you cut out.
Give me the top 10 players in the NBA right now.
Okay, sure. We go.
Right. Jay's always good at doing it with his head.
So Joker, Giannis, SGA, Tatum, Luka, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Wemby. I feel like I'm leaving somebody, and Steph Curry.
Okay, of those 10, Ori, of those 10, you're not getting Wemby. You're probably not getting Giannis. Maybe now there's rumors that they did make that call. You don't want the bottom half of those. You don't want Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry. You don't want those guys. Mm-hmm. You're not getting Joker. So it only leaves 2 or 3 guys anyways. Now, so now you have it to 2 or 3 guys, and now you have to think no one can find out. Because if anyone, especially Luka, finds out that I'm shopping him, we're screwed. So let's say he only made one call, which is we can't confirm that either. But let's say he only made one call. Well, I narrowed it down to 2 or 3 guys. I happen to know Rob Pelinka for the past 20 years, and I know he'll keep my secret. I'm going to call him first. And Rob Pelinka says, like, if Rob Pelinka says, no, there ain't no chance, then maybe he does move on to Giannis, KD, someone else. But Rob Pelinka goes, yeah, I think there's something there. Okay, well, this guy fits what we're looking for. A defensive big, right? Our second option would have been Giannis. yeah, maybe that's a better one. But
And by the way, Tone, he can't afford to let this get out neither.
oh, of course. So these two guys have a relationship. They're going to keep it quiet, and he's one of maybe 3 guys that this works with. So he makes the trade.
So you think based on the pound for pound, Anthony Davis was probably the best deal they were going to get.
I think Anthony Davis, like, I don't think KD's a good deal, to be honest. Although, we heard that rumor, but I don't like even Luka in Phoenix. I don't like KD. I don't like that deal. That with in Dallas, we've seen Kyrie and KD together already. Giannis might have been the better deal because he's younger, but that's a much trickier one because I don't think Milwaukee's ready to give up on Giannis yet. And I think that would have been pushed back with a hell no. So I think that one made the most sense from keeping it quiet, from getting the best you can get back for him in returns, and that fit their kind of goal of what they wanted to do. I think that's made the most sense for all 3 of those things.
You build it without foundation, and that does make a lot of sense. I like it. Good stuff, guys.
Now you're more
Good
fluent.
to talk to you, Ori. Good to talk to you, brother.
Hey, brother. All right, Jay. You came late, but you're always around, so we're gonna let you get on, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Minutes, we gotta get out of here. What up?
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think this is gonna go down as one of the worst trades in Dallas Maverick history, if not the worst.
Wow.
Like, you don't trade a prime top 3 player like that.
Yes, you do.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't
Yes,
think
you do.
Dallas is gonna do absolutely anything in the postseason.
Yes, you do.
At all.
Okay, you and the reason why you don't think that is because you're just looking at right now. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why you're looking at. You're looking at right now.
So
That's
right
why
now
you're looking
team
at
chill.
it.
It's not
Okay,
a
it's
long-term team.
Right. It's not a today and tomorrow. It's a today, tomorrow, next week. This is a 3-year plan. If they don't win it this year, you think that it was awful. No, we got 3 years to make this thing work.
It will. In about 2 to 3 years, chill. If they don't do absolutely anything, like, how are we looking at? Huh?
But what if the Lakers?
Okay, they're not going to win anything. How about that? Like, I can change the term. It'll still apply.
What if the Lakers don't do anything either?
Huh?
So what if
They've
Dallas
got more time? That, like, the difference between like the Lakers and like Dallas is like they've got way more time.
Way more time with what though? Way more time with what?
Because they now have a decade. They got a decade.
Are you sure Luka gonna hold up for 10 more years? Are you sure of that?
Yes.
What makes you so sure of that? He already broke down twice this year, and last year he was hurt too.
But he also got them to the finals last year, didn't they?
Okay, he did get them to the finals, but don't leave out the fact of how good that team was. Don't leave that out. It's very important to mention. And he already broke down last year and this year.
How many games?
You're under the impression, as good as he is, and I'm not arguing that. I am not arguing how good he is. What I am arguing is how good he is. You're under the impression that he's going to stand up for 10 more years at this level. Hell no. And that's
not this. Okay, that's a little different.
Hold on.
I have a question. Things now,
no, I'm not. You just said they got 10 years.
Yes, they do because he's 25.
Yeah. He quite possibly has 10 more years in the league, but health injuries, of course, you can't predict those. That being said, what if Dallas goes to the NBA final this year? Would that be a win or a loss in your and lose?
That would be a win. That would be like what I'm saying is like I think in general already they're not going to win. I don't think this roster is like constructed to like win a championship because the West is so top heavy.
Would they have won with Luka?
Yes. I think they had a better shot at winning with Luka than with AD. Yes.
Even though AD won the NBA championship.
Yes. Well, again, he had a different player with him.
Really?
Yes, he had LeBron James, who, by your own admission, Chill, should have won the league MVP that year.
Okay,
right? So, like, that's conversations for best player in the game.
But hold on for a second.
Than Kyrie.
I'm glad you brought that up. Can you tell everybody where Anthony Davis was that year?
He was in Lakers.
No, I'm talking about in terms of players, because he finished literally right outside the top 5 in MVP votes. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year, which means he was elite. He wasn't a good player.
Yes, and he was also younger.
Elite.
He was also younger.
But he's still in his prime right now.
With like less years to like bank on. Again, like Chile, it goes back to like the 3-year thing. Do you think they can win it in 3 years? I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think this is a 3-year plan.
Who are they getting past?
Yes.
Whom?
I think they got a 3-year. I think they got a 3-year plan. Yes.
Well, who are they getting past though?
Who are they not getting past with an
What do you
elite
mean? Who
big
are they not
man?
getting past? Like they
With-
can. I think they can beat
Jay,
OKC.
you're
I
not
don't think they
giving
got none of
everything
OKC.
you're doing, Jay, is you're speculating. That's all you're doing.
Well, we
That's
have
all
to when
you're
it comes
doing.
to a trade like this. We have to speculate.
So I could do the same thing with Luka. So Luka's not going to hold up for 10 more years. He's not.
He has a better. Okay.
No, he doesn't. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that the Dallas Mavericks. You can't tell me that the Dallas Mavericks are not going to win the NBA championship, even though Anthony Davis has been on a team who's anchored an NBA champion. But then tell me that Luka, who has been beat up for the last 2 years, he's going to hold up for 10 more years.
Let me clarify my position.
No?
Let me clarify my position.
Please.
The reason that I'm saying particularly that you don't trade somebody like Luka is because having a talent like that at that age is extremely hard to come by. It's not like every day. It's not every day that you come by a top 3 player chill at 25 years old. That doesn't happen ever. And to trade him for someone who's older, I think AD is like 33 right now, 32.
31 years old.
He's 31 years old right now, chill. Like in about
prime.
3 years, I don't see them getting past. I don't see them winning an NBA championship in 3 years. I don't think they're better than.
But you see Luka holding up for 10 years.
Yes, I do, because he's younger. He's significantly younger. Like way younger.
We'll find
I'm just gonna read you the games, chill. Like if we're talking about like just how many games Luka's played. He played 72 games in 2018, played 61 in 2019, played 66 in 2020, 65 in 2021, 66 in 22, 70 in 23, and he's played 22 now. So like where is the lack of health here? That's
how about right now? How about right now at 25 years old?
Just
how about
now,
that?
So you're banking on this.
How about that?
I could make the same argument
He is
about Anthony
all
Davis.
of those years that you told me, he was younger. That's number one. Number two, I can rewind that and I can combat everything that you just said with Anthony Davis. 5 of the 6 years that he was in New Orleans, 68 games. And the last year that he played there, he wasn't hurt. He was shelved because he was getting traded. And last season, 76 games. This season, 42 games, which means he's on pace to play 75 games this season, which means that we got a guy who, even though he's older, he's actually playing more.
True. I do think Anthony Davis is playing more games now. I just don't think that the roster construction over there in Dallas is like fit for winning a championship in the Western Conference.
Not right now.
This is a now team.
Not today. I'm talking
three-year team is a now team, chill.
Right.
Now team.
100%. Are you telling me that we can't make moves within the next 3 years?
We can make moves. I don't. What significant moves do I see them making? Do you see them
Luka
making?
Getting traded. What are you talking about, Jay?
Luka has but Luka's younger. Luka has a decade on. He still has almost a decade.
Hold on. Let me go back to when you say this team isn't constructed to win. How are they not constructed to win? This team has it has guard play, it has defense, and it has multiple bigs. It's actually the team best constructed to win in the West right now.
Best? Yeah. I don't think they're better. I don't think they're better. I think that there are other teams right now that can beat them in a postseason matchup. There are more teams that are like top heavy that can beat them in a postseason.
With the exception of maybe OKC, which has a better number one. Who else is better constructed? The Nuggets have significant flaws in their roster. Minnesota has flaws. The Lakers have flaws. Houston has flaws, and they're young. Who's a better constructed roster right now than like significantly better than Dallas that they couldn't beat in 4 out of 7 games?
The 3 teams you just named, I would say, are like better constructed. Like even though they have like they're gonna have their deficiencies, but like the top, like what seed right now is Dallas in?
I think they're in the 8th seed right now.
They're in the 8th seed right now is Dallas. Okay, so the others, I want to say the top 5 teams in the Western Conference, I would say, are better constructed.
The top 5 teams. OKC.
Okay.
I said, with the exception of OKC. Memphis?
Yes, I think Memphis is better than them. Yes.
Houston isn't better constructed. And like I said, and they're young. So we already said that one. Denver's not better constructed. They've got to rely on Jamal Murray becoming healthy. Russell Westbrook staying Russell Westbrook. Like beyond Jokic, they don't really have much in terms of construction better than it's the Lakers. Are the Lakers better constructed now than Dallas? Those are top.
I'll give you the Lakers. Is that it?
Those are the top. You said the top 5. Then it's the Clippers, then it's Minnesota, then it's Sacramento, and then it's Phoenix and Golden State. All the 10 teams ahead of them, like I said, with the exception of maybe OKC, there isn't a team that's significantly better constructed than this team in terms of guard play, defense, and bigs, multiple bigs.
That makes sense. I can understand what you guys are saying. I just don't. I'm not.
I don't think you do. Huh? I don't think you do. I don't think you do, and it's cool because I see. Because the reason why, because I see what you're looking at. I do. I see what you're looking at. You're looking at a 25-year-old young, pretty thing that we got 10 years to put this whole thing together. That's what you see right now.
Of course,
and it does make sense to see that right now. I see something different.
If I change the name of Luka, sorry about that.
I was just saying, of course, you're trading one star that's 25 for one that's 31. Of course, the 6-year gap, that I understand. But when I look at Dallas and I say I've got Kyrie, Christie, Martin, Washington, Lively, Gafford, Davis, find me another 7 that can say I have 1 through 5 covered offensively and defensively. Dallas is actually a really good roster right now.
I can get with what y'all are saying. I can understand it. I still don't. I still don't agree with you guys. I don't think you can justify trading away.
You don't have to, and I understand it because I see what you're looking at. A 25-year-old top 3 player.
But
on paper, on paper, it doesn't make sense to do this. It doesn't.
That's why we're all shocked when it happened. Of course.
Yeah,
if I change the name from Luka to another player, would you guys still feel this comfortable about it?
Depending on who the player is. I wouldn't feel it. Luka and Shea aren't the same. They don't have the same issues. They do not.
What, the defensive issues are the ones you're talking about?
Not only that. There you go. That stuff matters, Jay.
No,
100% matters.
I'll say this: if SGA was in Dallas, sharing the backcourt with Kyrie, and Shea was a little bit out of shape, and he was going through some injury issues, and they were staring down the barrel of a $350 million contract extension, and they weren't sure if he even liked being in the NBA because he's from another country. Maybe he wants to go back to Canada, and then he got traded with all of the. Not that I agree with all of those factors, but if that was what they were pushing out, the narrative they were pushing, and then they traded him based on those factors, I'd be like, I wouldn't do it, but okay. If they're both 25 and the same, it was all for the same thing. I guess I would say the exact same thing.
I think it's a win-win, Tone, for everybody. To be honest with you, Tone, I think it's a win-win for everybody. But Jay, we got to go, brother. We would love to talk to you for 20 more minutes, but we got to bounce.
All right, y'all have a good one, guys. Y'all have a good one. Wait, real quick. Can y'all tell me who won, the Cavs or Celtics? Do y'all have the score up?
Oh, the Celtics one.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I didn't get to watch that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they won. All right, brother.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Later.
Yep.
He's a Celtics fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why. He's just mad that the Lakers are back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long, long time, we back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We ran really long.
We way over time. Yes, we are.
So tired. I gotta go to sleep.
Yes, we gotta get some sleep, ladies and gentlemen. We ran way over time, but we're here for your enjoyment. This is what we do around here.
If there's a trade at 12:30, don't call me. Go ahead.
Unless it's Joker getting traded to the Knicks. I'm ringing your phone. 8 Tone, you are going to answer the phone.
Joker to the Lakers.
If Joker is traded to the Clippers, Tone, I will ring your phone all night. You will answer the phone. Wake up, Tone. Wake up. It's good to see you guys tonight. We really appreciate you being here. We love you. We will be back next week. You know where to find us at. It's either on the Sports Fluent Network or on Chilltown Hoops. We're here every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Well, let's let me talk to your mother. Call your mother. We will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys tonight. Oh, Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.